A Business Law Guide. Chapter 1. Business Law Info. Business Law Info. Business law information may be tough to find because information is all over the place. First, try the law section at the library, number 340-349, namely number 346.7106 or KE1658 or KF1659. Next, try the business section, number 650 to 659. 650 Business and Related. 651 Office Services. 652 Writing. 653 Shorthand. 655 Printing and Related Activities. 657 Accounting. 658 Management, Mail Order, Advertising, Grants. 659 Miscellaneous. Beyond that, there are two other business type sections that might help you. 330 Economics. 331 Work. 332 Money, Investing, Stock Market. 333 Land, Real Estate. 334 Cooperative Systems. 335 Collectivist Systems and Schools. 336 Public Finance, Taxes. 338 Production, Corporations. 339 Distribution and Consumption. 380 Commerce. 381 Internal Commerce, Shopping, Mail Order, etc. 382 International Commerce. 383 Postal Communications. 384 Communications, TV, Internet, etc. 385 Railroad Transportation. 386 Inland Waterway Transportation. 387 Water, Air, Space Transportation. 388 Ground Transportation. 389 Metrology and Standardization. State laws vary. There are federal laws that kick in at different numbers of employees in the company. If you have fewer than 4 employees, there are really no hiring or firing laws. You can do pretty much as you see fit. If you have less than 15 employees, you have a lot of personal control as to how you run the business. Federal discrimination laws do not apply, but some state laws will. If you have between 15 and 49 employees, federal discrimination laws and other laws kick in. If you have 50 or more employees, you're considered big time. You have to follow federal laws regarding family and medical leave, sexual harassment, drugs in the workplace, employee testing, discrimination, smoking, etc. The bigger you get employee-wise, the more necessary it becomes to clearly outline your policies in a manual and make it more detailed as you go along and deal with new situations. Some of the major federal business laws are as follows. Federal Trade Commission Act works to prohibit unfair and deceptive business practices, particularly in the areas of advertising claims and product labeling, ftc.gov. Clayton Act is against monopolistic practices and mergers that lower competition in a free market economy. Robinson-Patman Act prohibits the discriminatory pricing of a product based on factors other than trying to make a profit based on costs such as price fixing. Sherman Antitrust Act governs those practices that are contrary to fair, free trade, like price fixing, offering different prices to different people or in different regions, limiting trade, deliberately excluding businesses, etc. Antitrust laws/monopolies. Antitrust laws are laws put into effect by the federal government to keep big companies from taking over the market on a product line, thus able to do as they please, including setting the price and getting rid of competitors. Antitrust laws, which have roots back to the Federal Trade Commission Act of 1964 and the Robinson-Patman Act of 1936, are controversial to this day because of the differences of opinion as to who should be protected more: small businesses protected from big corporations at the possible expense of the consumer, or should the consumer ultimately get the best deal even if it's a big corporation seemingly unfairly crushing the competition? The Sherman Act in the United States prohibits businesses from entering into contracts, combinations, or conspiracies to manipulate the market. Price fixing or making deals with competitors about what price you will charge is illegal. Insiders watch for complicity among the players who often like to brag or at least be smug about their doing. When Sotheby's auction house made a deal to charge same fees and commissions as Christie's in the 1990s, what gave them away was one of their vigilant customers who knew there was something going on, so he reported it. The biggest case in recent memory was the antitrust suit against Microsoft for dominating the software industry with Windows and including Internet Explorer with the package, thus giving them an unfair advantage over other browsers and search engines. Antitrust laws also come into play if you are a company buying another company, an acquisition, or a merger. There are antitrust restrictions that prevent you from buying your competitor's business and dominating the market if it's set up that way. The Department of Justice uses the Herfindahl-Hirschman Index, a mathematical formula which measures potential market concentration if one company buys another, and if this exceeds a certain level, they will oppose the sale. The Federal Trade Commission Act prohibits unfair competition that produces a monopoly and false or deceptive advertising. The Hart-Scott-Rodino Act is mainly for big companies who want to acquire another company in their field. They have to run it by the FTC and the DOJ, who investigate and decide whether to approve it or not. The Clayton Act, Section 7, prohibits acquisitions that may lessen competition or create a monopoly. The Sherman Act prohibits companies from merging if this would lessen competition or create a monopoly. It also covers illegal agreements by competitors to meet together and fix prices, set territories, etc. In general, there are two categories of restraints in antitrust laws. Vertical restraints, where manufacturers or wholesalers are not allowed to place conditions on the people they sell the products to who will resell them to the consumers. Some examples are: resale price maintenance. Can't dictate the price at which the reseller/retailer must sell your product. Exclusive dealership. Can't force the reseller/retailer to sell only your products and not sell a competitor's similar products. Geographic and customer limitations. Can't limit the area where the reseller/retailer will sell your product. Price discrimination. Selling to one or several resellers/retailers in one area at a lower price designed to undercut the competition and get rid of them. Tying. Forcing resellers/retailers to buy several products when they really only want one or two. Horizontal restraints are situations where in a particular industry, one or a few of the major players get together to either try to get rid of the competition through price undercutting or agreeing to raise the price to increase their profits. There are both federal and state antitrust laws. Antitrust laws take some heat because in a supposedly free country with a supposed free market system, the government comes in and interferes with the free flow of business. Monopolies, price fixing and price discrimination, offering different prices to different people, are all illegal but have many opponents because it's not a free market in action. In any case, they're technical laws that go through a slow, tedious process when charges are filed. The best way to deal with antitrust laws is to do preventive compliance. Hire an antitrust attorney to do an antitrust audit and develop a protection program for your company. Antitrust.org. Antitrustinstitute.org. stolaf.edu/people/becker/antitrust. usdoj.gov/atr, Antitrust Division. vanderbilt.edu/owen/froeb/antitrust, antitrust law. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/government-granted_monopoly. Unfair trade practices. Beyond antitrust laws, there are state unfair competition laws such as aggressively trying to steal your competition's customers. A manufacturer or broker who tries to intimidate retailers to sell at a certain price under threat of withholding product or any other threat. Any false statements you make about your goods or services. Bait and switch selling, advertising a product for a low price, then when the customer arrives at the store, they say the product isn't available and try to sell him a higher priced or lower quality one. Bribery. Copying another business's trademark, trade dress, patents, copyrights, etc. deception in promotional contests, disparagement of a competitor's products, entering the transaction with any manner of attempt to fool or defraud the consumer, giving some customers or geographic areas lower prices than in other parts of the country, invasion of privacy, making false negative statements against a competitor's products, making representations that are misleading or deceptive, including verbal statements or advertising, misappropriation of intellectual property, price discrimination, putting too much undue pressure on the consumer to enter a transaction, pyramid selling, signing up distributors, making most of your money from the fees you charge them, rigging the bidding in an auction situation, safety of product, selling a product for the higher price if there are two price tags on it, selling a product for above the advertised price, taking advantage of the consumer's inability to understand the transaction, use of exaggeration, innuendo, or ambiguity in selling your products. Many other laws depending on the state you live in. If a consumer enters an agreement where he or she was induced to do so by a representation that was an unfair practice, the agreement may be rescinded any time within 6 months after making the agreement, and the consumer is entitled to any remedy available through civil court, including damages. If you feel you've been the victim of an unfair trade practice, write a letter to the business concerned stating that you believe they committed some manner of fraud or deception on you which renders the contract void, and unless they settle with you by paying you back for the cost of the product, you will sue them in civil court for the cost of the product, damages caused to you plus punitive and exemplary damages. Furthermore, tell them you will circulate the story through the media unless they pay up. In Canada, the Federal Act is the Competition Act, and most of the provinces have their own Unfair Business Practices Act. abanet.org/litigation/committees/keynotes_unfair.html, case notes, unfair trade practices. aem.org/government/int/issue.asp?i=23 atg.wa.gov/workarea/linkit.aspx, antitrust/unfair trade practices. bensaisler.com, Boston business attorney. bespiecific.com/mt/archives/013003.html, commentary on real estate valuation and unfair trade practices. benonilawgroup.com/practice-areas/unfair-trade.asp, Los Angeles, California, unfair trade practices lawyers. branhamday.com, Nashville unfair business practices and antitrust lawyers. bskb.com, Birch, Stewart, Kolask, and Birch, Law. cga.ct.gov/2005/pub/chap735a.htm, Chapter 735a, Connecticut Unfair Trade Practices Act. cronemason.com/unfair.html, law firm in Memphis, TN. datcp.state.wi.us/core/trade practices/trade practices.jsp. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/directive_2005/29/EC_the_unfair_commercial_practices_ directive, European en.wikipedia.org/wiki/unfair_business_practices. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/unfair_labor_practice, certain actions taken by employers that violate the National Labor Relations Act, NLRA. export.gov/trade problems/exp_anti_dumping.asp. finweb.com/insurance/beware-of-unfair-trade-practices.html. fitzpatricksella.com/practice/unfairtrade.cfm, law practice. ftc.gov. ftc.gov/bcp/policies/tmt/ad-unfair.htm, FTC policy statement on unfairness, list of unfair trade practices. gmf-la.w.com/trade_practices.html, Durham unfair trade practices attorneys, NC. ia.ita.doc.gov, import administration, safeguards American industries and jobs from unfair trade practices. janus.state.me.us/allegius/statutes/9/Title 9 SEC 5014.html, The Unfair Trade Practices Act. joegriffith.com/unfair-trade-practices.html, Charleston SC Unfair Trade Practices Attorneys. law.cornell.edu/topics/unfair-competition.html. masslegalhelp.org/consumer/unfair-deceptive-trade-practices. members.aol.com/statutespate/73.cp1.html, Unfair Trade Practices and Consumer Protection Law. neighborhoodlaw.org, Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices. nvo.com/ringlaw/unfair trade. opi.state.mt.us/bills/mca_toc/30_14_2.htm, Unfair Trade Practices and Consumer Protection, Montana. oppenheimlaw.com, business lawyer, does unfair trade practices. Practices in intellectual property law, unfair competition, trade secrets. rosendashLAWFIRM.com/unfair-trade-practices.shtml, South Carolina Unfair Trade Practices Attorneys. thelawforum.com/areas/unfair-trade-practices/index.asp. toy-icti.org/info/unfairtrade.html. usdoj.gov. wllosd.com, litigation with heavy emphasis in all areas of competition law, including antitrust, unfair trade practices. wolfbaldwin.com/lawyers_attorneys/articles.asp, the Pennsylvania Unfair Trade Practices and Consumer Protection Law. Confidentiality Agreement/Non-Disclosure Agreement, NDA. A confidentiality agreement is a short legal letter that you can make up on your own or get your lawyer to make up, where you say that you will exchange information with either another individual or company and agree not to disclose it to anyone else. You can find standard forms on the Internet. A confidentiality agreement is most often used when an inventor or creator of something pitches it to a possible investor. There are confidentiality agreements for employers who want their workers to not disclose company operations/secrets. They are also used if there is a legal settlement and one side wants the other to not disclose the details publicly. straightgis.ic.gc.ca/epic/internet/inrti- rti.nsf/n/te00832e.html. 4hb.com/letters/ltrcnfdfirm.html, confidentiality agreement between firms. allbusiness.com/intellectual-property-form/confidentiality-non/3472244-1.html. allaw.com/forms/employment/non-disclosure, employee non-disclosure and confidentiality agreement. azbop.com/confidentiality agreement.htm, confidentiality/non-disclosure agreement, Arizona business. bitlaw.com/forms/nda.html. confidentiality.biz. confidentialitywizard.com. coollawyer.com/front/free-conf/interactive.php, confidentiality agreement, free confidentiality agreement form. corporations4sale.com/confagree.html. debtsellers.us/confidentiality-agreement.htm. edukos.edu/browse/645?parent_id=607. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/confidentiality_agreement. findlegalforms.com. freepatentforms.com/confidentiality1.htm. globalcontractexperts.com. graniteDocuments.com/confidentiality_agreement.asp. ilrg.com/forms/confidagree.html. inc.com/tools/2000/12/21531.html ipwatchdog.com/confidentiality_agreements.html, free sample confidentiality agreements. lawdepot.com/contracts/confidentiality-agreement. medlawplus.com/forminfo/confidentiality agreement.htm. my.execpc.com/mhalline/form1.html. newnames.nu/partners/exhibit-c.pdf. portal.rfsuny.org/pls/url/page/intellectual_property/tto/forms and agreements. realdealdocs.com. sitescard.com/sscd/agreement-confidentiality.html. tms.org/pubs/journals/matters/matters-9405.html, understanding confidentiality agreements. washington.edu/re/hsd/faq_conf.html, is a confidentiality agreement and a certificate of confidentiality the same thing? Consumer protection laws. Consumer protection laws are geared for three main things. Implied warranties: does the product do what it's supposed to do? Deceptive advertising, misleading claims. Packaging must not mislead consumer. Safety of the product. You can get the free Consumer Resource Handbook from pueblo.gsa.gov, 888-8 Pueblo. Consumer books are at number 640 at the library. The main magazines are Consumer Reports, consumerreports.org, Consumer Guide, and Consumer Digest. GaleGroup.com, 800-877 Gale publish the Consumer Sourcebook and Consumer Product Manufacturer Ratings. Refer to the Product Liability section for some information as well as the following consumer websites. Try number 640 or TX335 at the library. Adbusters.org. bbb.org/library. bbbonline.org. bbb.org/complaints/file.html. bizrate.com, reports on companies. consumerlawpage.com. consumersdigest.com. consumerreports.org. consumerwatchdog.org. cosmeticscop.com, cosmeticsinfo. cpsc.gov, Consumer Product Safety Act. delphi.com/dir-login/index.asp, Consumer Discussion Forum. econsumerism.com, online shopping. fda.gov, Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, Fair Package and Liability Act. ftc.gov, Federal Trade Commission Act. ftc.gov/ftc/complaint, 877-382-4357. safishopping.org. technophile.com. thepubliceye.com, shopping on the web. thepubliceye.com/compelts.htm, accepts complaints by businesses listed with them. trustee.org, only trusted companies can display its seal of approval. webwatchdog.com, geared for online shopping. webwatchdog.com/forms/contactform.cfm. Contracts in general. Make every contract clear and plain that none afterwards complain. A contract is an agreement between two or more people or parties for any of a number of reasons such as marriage, buying or selling something, service, etc. In legal parlance, a contract is written as a.k. Many uninformed people mistakenly believe that all contracts are formal, legalized documents, but the fact is that every time you buy something or reach a meeting of the minds with someone on a point of business, you're entering into a contract. The formal definition of a contract is a promise or set of promises for the breach of which the law gives a remedy, or the performance of which the law in some way recognizes as a duty. There are generally four conditions of contracts. 1. Capacity of parties. The parties must be of sound mind and have the legal authority to enter into a contract. Minors can enter contracts but they can't be legally liable for them. 2. Mutual agreement, assent, also called a meeting of the minds. The two sides see eye to eye on the offer being presented. It is written up in clear, simple language. 3. Consideration given. The contract must have some value to it. 4. Legality. The contract has to deal with legal matters, not illegal ones. If someone promises you something and you accept, a contract is formed. The two defining aspects are the agreement and the obligation, each side agreeing to give up something to the other in exchange for a good or service. The courts recognize an objective theory of contract law, meaning that the real intention of the contract is what you make known to the other party, not what you might feel in your mind. Promises or agreements made on the basis of goodwill or natural affection are not legally binding in court. There are two aspects of a contract: the express terms, the implied terms. The express term is what you verbally agree to with the other person. The implied terms are the parts of the contract not stated but are assumed to hold in the normal course of doing business. For instance, if you call a friend up and ask him to work for you on the weekend and he agrees, you've just made a contract. You haven't talked wages, but it's implied and you both assume that the wages will be fair and normal for the services rendered. Most contracts involve an exchange of money for goods or services, although some can be on a barter basis, an exchange of goods and/or services without the transfer of money. You don't need a lawyer to draft up the contract. If both sides agree, you can add modifications to the contract. Keep it simple. When in doubt, get your lawyer to look it over. Legally, the requirements for a legitimate contract are: both parties must be of sound mind and of legal age, usually 18. Oral contracts are valid but difficult to prove. Try to get it in writing. Certain contracts must be in writing to be valid, such as any land or property sales over $500, wills and co-signing a loan. The contract must be entered into by free will. There are certain allowances for naivete and duress, such as someone who is very young, very old, sick, or otherwise frail. These contracts can be righteously challenged in court if someone is thought to be taking advantage of such people. A contract does not have to be written in order to be valid and enforceable. It may be oral, and the breach of an oral contract is also grounds for a suit, but you would do well to have a witness to the event. Oral contracts are legally enforceable for consumer goods if the purchase price is under $500. Once payment is made on a product, even if it is not in writing, the seller cannot legally back out. In most cases, the courts will not let you back out of a contract just because you got a bad deal. They will only act if you were the victim of fraud or misrepresentation, which is a form of fraud. Services as opposed to goods must be in writing in order to be enforceable. However, the catch-22 to this is that they don't have to be in writing if they can be completed within a year, which, of course, most are. Some other transactions which require a written contract are the purchase or long-term lease of land, agreement to pay another person's debts, and purchases over between $500 to $1,000 depending on the state that you live in. A written contract can take virtually any form: a memo, receipt, a letter, or just an ordinary piece of paper. The important thing is the other person signs it in order to make it enforceable. If a contract contains lies or is party to some sort of fraud, it is immediately voided. Similarly, the law won't help you enforce a contract for illegal actions like winning money in a card game or buying stolen property. Many states have plain English laws that require contracts to be written in simple, basic terms such that they can be easily understood. This rule is frequently violated, so it's really your responsibility to make it your business to know what you're getting into before you sign. Read the contract before you sign it. Read the fine print. Some contracts hide important information in the fine print, like waiving the right to sue the other party should something go wrong. Read every word of an important contract. If there is something about a contract you don't like, bring it up to the other party and have the contract amended before you proceed. A legal contract doesn't necessarily require a lawyer. Simply put it in writing and have 2 to 3 objective witnesses that have no interest in the deal sign it. That should be enough to make it legally binding in any court of law, but to play it extra safe, many people choose to hire a lawyer to draw up their contracts. Many contracts in business are made up by the merchant, hence, unless you're able to negotiate, it's in a take it or leave it form. It's your responsibility to read the fine print before you sign it and become legally bound by its contents. If you don't agree with a provision and want to amend it, both parties must initial near the crossed out or amended line. Quite often in business agreements, the merchant will try to entice the buyer with oral promises in addition to what's in the contract. These are virtually useless unless you insist that it be written in as part of the contract. If buying a product that has yet to be delivered, get a delivery date on the contract. If you don't get it within 30 days, you have the right to cancel. In the furniture industry, deliveries for particular pieces sometimes take up to 6 months. When one party does not perform according to the terms of an agreement, the other party can sue for breach of contract. If your case is to be based on contract law theory, you must be able to prove that you had a valid contract and that the other party breached it. The validity of the contract depends upon several factors. One party must make an offer which the other accepts. There must be a legal meeting of the minds. Each of the parties must agree to do something, i.e., to either provide a good or service or to pay for a good or service. The courts have some latitude in determining the matter. They can either decide for substantial performance or negligence, the matter entirely subjective left to the judge to decide. Substantial performance is a term that can be used to honor a contract even if your requirements are not met. If the person provides you with a reasonable facsimile of what you ordered even if it's not exactly what you want, it could fulfill the contract unless you can prove otherwise, for example, if it's an eyesore or whatever. Many judges today realize that when a contract is made between a merchant and buyer, the merchant usually gets the buyer to sign a pre-made contract which gives him some advantage, so they often reject letter of the law enforcement in favor of a more level-headed, broader view, taking the buyer's perspective into consideration. To prove fraud, the buyer must show firstly that the seller made a statement of fact which was false and known by the seller to be false at the time, and his intent was to deceive the buyer and the buyer believed him and was damaged as a result of this. A case of fraud would be if someone sold you something represented as new which is, in fact, used. Courts generally disregard hyping a product as fraud since those statements are only an opinion and not considered to be fact, and it's generally accepted as part of the generic sales process. A buyer can rescind a contract if the seller says something about it that is wrong. This differs from fraud in that the misstatement doesn't have to be intentional. Any misstatement is enough grounds to cancel the contract. There are some contracts called unconscionable contracts which are so unreasonable perhaps because one party is naive, one party is intimidating, or it's just such an outright rip-off that the courts render them void. Businesstown.com, dgcontracts.com, freelegalforms.com, legalissue.com, rjsventures.com. Contract law in business. Contracts can range from simple two-party agreements to a complex multi-party agreement. Generally, contracts are used to start, modify, or end a relationship. Very basically, a contract is a direct agreement or implied agreement, the violation of which can be remedied through legal means, usually money in compensation for the breach. The spirit of contract law is that there has to be a meeting of the minds between the parties involved called mutual assent, that the parties are of sound mind and come to an agreement, usually an exchange of goods and services for monetary compensation with a reasonable expectation that both sides will fulfill their obligations. Contracts don't have to be written in order to be enforceable, but it helps. If you can prove somebody made an oral contract with you, like have it on tape or have witnesses, you can pursue it in court if they violate it. Most business contracts are either business to business or business to customer. Contracts can be called a variety of names such as agreement, terms and conditions, order form, guarantees, warranties, limitations of liability or restrictions. Think of contracts as a set of laws you create with your contractor. They imply legally binding agreements. Even though in the olden days, a handshake was as good as a written contract, nowadays, all bets are off. A clearly worded contract keeps it crystal clear for both sides and covers as many contingency possibilities as possible, like what happens if something else happens. This is the way professionals do business these days. Everything is above board, written out as legal rules and regulations. If someone can't hack it or fulfill the contract, it's rendered void. This keeps everything straight so you can eliminate the bullshitters who don't follow the contract. If there was no contract, you would have to dilly-dally with some bullshitter to see where his head is at or get your part of the bargain. But if you make up a contract up front and see that this guy is violating it right from the get-go, it's a red flag for you that he's not honorable, so you should get out now to save yourself the grief later on down the line. For legal protection, make all contracts as specific as possible, covering every possible minor point you can think of, but don't be complex and tedious. Keep it simple and clear. Make each party sign an original copy of the contract. With simple contracts like I will do X service for you or give you Y number of widgets for Z amount of money, the service provider or product seller usually has a contract in place. If the potential buyer doesn't agree, they can either modify it between themselves, he can take his chances and go ahead with a contract he's satisfied with, or he can back out. With complex contracts, both usually make up their own terms, meet in a room somewhere where they and their lawyers hash it out, then the lawyers write up a draft, they hash it out all over again until both sides are relatively happy. The basic elements of a business contract are: the parties involved, subject matter, the product or services provided, recitals, incidental clauses, method and schedule of payment, delivery dates, deadlines, consequences/penalties of missing the due date, consequences/penalties of not fulfilling the contract, warranties, guarantees, conditions under which the contract can be terminated, who pays for what expenses, liability limits, time limit, inherent risks in undertaking the operation beyond control of the provider, like storm may postpone delivery on time, conditions for termination, conditions for a renewal. Can the contract be sold to a third party, a subcontractor? Obviously, a contract can only be altered if both sides agree to it in writing. A breach of contract is one party violating the terms of the contract wherein the other side can terminate the contract and possibly sue for damages in court, and if the violation is criminal, the violator could be charged criminally, which will strengthen the civil case if convicted. Even with all this legal talk about contracts, keep it simple. Don't go overboard. A big, long contract could scare some people off. Have a simple, basic one-page contract that covers the main points. Verbal contracts are meaningless unless you have witnesses or recorded audio or video of the deal. You don't have to hire a lawyer to draft up a contract for you. There are books and software that contain boilerplate contracts for a variety of generic situations, or you can simply write one up yourself in your own words. A contract is basically an agreement. Among honorable people it's a good thing, but if you're dealing with a schmuck, a contract won't protect you much. You will have to sue him and fight him in court, and if he's a scumbag, he will never pay you even if he loses. If you're given a copy of somebody else's contract to sign and it's a big deal for you, tell them you will take it home, read it and then sign it. If you see something you don't like, cross it out and put your initials besides. If you want to add a few statements, do it and initial it. Get an original copy for yourself and sign them both. If you see the word indemnify in a contract, it means that if there's a lawsuit, you agree to pay the other person's legal expenses. Try to deal with good people up front. Once a contract winds up in court for a violation, everybody loses. In the final analysis, everything I've read about contract law is relatively technical and complex. My best advice is to study contract law in depth before making a serious contract and get a contract lawyer. Refer to the Uniform Commercial Code /UCC, law.cornell.edu/UCC. Go to number 346 at the library. Go to the reference section. Find a law library in your local area. Chapter 2. Business Law 2. Contract Liability. The term contract liability describes any claims made against you alleging breach of the terms of the implied contract of the marketplace that purports your product does whatever function it's supposed to do. This is dependent on the quality of the product and how it's represented. It moves into the realm of deceptive advertising, misrepresentation, and fraud. If you claim you have a car that can get 100 miles to a gallon of gas and you don't, you're violating the implied warranty as well as lying about it. It's easy to prove the implied warranty. Every product on the market has it according to the American government, the Magnuson-Moss Act implemented by the Federal Trade Commission in 1975. If the customer suffered financial, physical, or other damages as a result of a defect in your product, he or she could bring an action against you for a breach of contract. It doesn't matter if your defect is innocent, negligent, or willful. Of course, if it's intentional, the punitive damages will be higher, but when you put a product out on the market, you have to have some accountability that it does what it purports to do and is safe. Tort liability is a violation of civil law generally directed at the public at large and often involves a defective product as a result of negligence. Anyone who has had a negative effect from the product can make a claim for damages against the manufacturer and everybody involved in the distribution chain. E-signatures/electronic signature software. There is a federal law called the Electronic Signatures in Global and National Commerce Act, also called the E-Signature Act or the Digital Signatures Act, that allows contracts involved in interstate commerce, between parties in different states, to be signed over the Internet through a process called the digital signature, electronic signature, or an e-signature. There are state laws similar to the Uniform Electronic Transactions Act/UETA for in-state transactions. An e-signature could be as simple as clicking onto an I agree icon, typing in a password or PIN number, or typing your name in and stating the word signature beside it. The means don't really matter as long as you both agree to do it and what constitutes it. They even have programs where you sign your name on something, feed it through the computer through a scanner, and either a person or machine verifies your signature. If you do money transactions such as with brokerage houses, they often have you type in a PIN number and an account number. Then after you choose a transaction, they ask a question verifying that you want that transaction, so when you click yes, that's your e-signature. E-signatures are valid if both parties agree beforehand to using them in their transaction. They are currently only used in business transactions and not in domestic contracts such as divorce, wills, or in the evictions and foreclosures of real estate transactions. rec10.kub.nl simone/dslasa.hdm, Digital Signature Laws. ict.etsi.fr/eessi/eessi-homepage.hdm. The European Electronic Signature Standardization Initiative, EC. DocuSign.com. EchoSIGN.com. eSignForms.com. Certify.com. Yozons.com. Hospitality law/hotel law/restaurant law. topics.law.wex/hotels_and_restaurants, law about hotels and restaurants. Non-compete and non-solicitation agreements. A non-compete clause is an agreement you make your employees sign before you hire them, stating that they won't steal your business ideas, trade secrets, methods of operation, clients, and take them to a competitor or start a related business on their own. Non-compete clauses in employee contracts are theoretically designed to protect you from this, but the legal protection they offer is not that strong. Non-compete agreements generally specify that your employees will not compete with you for a certain length of time, usually 1 to 2 years, almost never more, for a specific geographic locale, in a specific industry, in a specific subfield of an industry. Non-compete clauses are generally state laws and as such not as wide-reaching as trade secret laws. You have the right to ask your employee not to compete with you in a city, state, or region for a few years, but that's about it. He could still take your business ideas and set up business in another state on the other side of the country. Some state non-compete laws are stringent. Others aren't. The tough part about them is that you cannot prevent someone else from earning a living in their profession, so there's a fine line as to what constitutes a violation of the non-compete clause as opposed to another competitor setting up a business who just happens to be an ex-employee of Company X. If you want full protection for ideas you deem unique, either get a patent or get a lawyer to set up a trade secrets contract for you, which would mean employees can't use your business ideas nowhere no how. If you have one of these clauses, an employee can't quit, set up his own company then start taking your clients away. He's infringing on your client list. He has a perfect right to set up his own company, but he's not allowed to use your business ideas or methods or use your client/mailing list. Mark all sensitive documents that you don't want to be copied and used by others with a confidential stamp and a little note saying, "This information is the property of X Corp. Any unauthorized use is prohibited and illegal." Your best defense is to hire workers you perceive to be honest. Check with a business attorney to find out what the climate regarding non-compete clauses is where you live. If they are taken seriously and prosecuted, hire him or her to write an agreement that protects your business interests from exploitive employees. A non-solicitation clause is a bit more specific than a non-compete clause. It is an agreement you get your employees to sign saying that if they leave your company, they won't try to steal your existing customers for their own business interests, provided what they sell or do is related to what you sell or do in your business. This agreement lasts for a specific amount, usually no longer than 2 years. This applies regardless of whether they go to work for a competing company or start their own. Even though using these agreements might make you seem a little paranoid, if anybody gives you a dirty look or asks why, just say you learned from experience how to conduct your business and say nothing more. It could save thousands of dollars from either an ex-employee thinking twice before stealing your ideas or your recovery after you sue a violator in civil court. Without these agreements, you're SOL, shit outta luck. Use your head. If you get a new employee blabbing his mouth about trade secrets from the last company he worked for, what ya think he's gonna do at his next company after he leaves you? Preventive law/internal audit/auditing your business. In business in general, the lawyers often do the routine contractual stuff and come in for serious business only after the managers have got into some kind of legal trouble. With preventive law, the accounting department and other departments meet up with the lawyers to do internal legal audits to safeguard the legality of what they're doing, expose wrongdoing and correct it before they get a big lawsuit from outside of the company. Also have an open door policy or an anonymous suggestion box which encourages employees to see wrongdoing, like the female account with Enron, to report it so it can be contained before it goes all out of control. The major reasons legal audits are conducted is to look for such things as doctoring accounting/banking records, using business assets for personal use, adhering to license and permit requirements, adhering to all federal laws, namely tax law, labor laws, safety, environmental, equal opportunity, disability, and for publicly traded companies, SEC laws, employment procedure, hiring, firing, conduct of employees, etc. Documentation of all motions and actions made by the board of directors/owners. Does the company adhere to all reporting/disclosure requirements made by the government, investors, and lenders? Metricsteam.com. allbusiness.com/accounting-reporting/auditing. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/disaster_recovery_and_business_continuity_auditing. auditindex.com. abanet.org/buslaw/blt/8-4dimension.html. aftabi.com/previous doing business s online overview.htm, preventive law, doing business online. auditnet.org. bernsteinfeldman.com/preventive.jsp, Annapolis, MD. booksmatter.com/B0324225741.htm, book called Preventive Law for Business Professionals. businesslawattorney.com. capitalbancorp.com/charter_audit.html, audits for small business. compassoft.com, auditing software. csus.edu/obe/buslaw.html. desertlaw.com/business_law.htm. dexia.com/e/discover/audit_audit.php, the world leader in public finance and in financial services. duvalbusinesslaw.com. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/internal_audit. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/internal_audit_staff. healersofconflicts.com/tools/preventivelaw.htm. internalaudit.rfp.com. laslolaw.com/indexpage_20/preventive_law.shtml, Washington Preventive Law Attorney. lawguru.com/cgi/bbs/@typages/ferdi.html, Puerto Rico Preventive Law. levic.com/resources/topics/articles/business_preventative_law.php. methodware.com/products/internalaudit.html, internal audit software. pblutah.com, Parsons Behel and Latimer, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, and Reno Business Law. powelltrichtman.com/practice areas/business-lawsuit-avoidance-training-consulting.asp, avoid litigation, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania Business Compliance. PreventiveLawyer.org, National Center for Preventive Law. prativd.com. pwc.com, Internal Audit Services. pwcglobal.com, Internal Audit Advisory Services. quaitman.com/articles/28,1.html, Preventive Business Law. rubenbrown.com/services/internal audit/internal audit. sdp.org/internal audit, does audits. unitedamerican.com/ua_internal_audit/default.asp, United American Insurance Company. west.thomson.com/store/product.asp_product_id=139742007, The Legal Audit, Corporate Internal Investigation, Step-by-Step Procedures for Constructing the Legal Audit. sjiia.org, San Jose Institute for Internal Auditors. Institute of Internal Auditors, Inc. 247 Maitland Avenue, Altamonte Springs, Florida 32701-4201. theiia.org. Self-protection from lawsuits. We live in a lawsuit-happy society where anybody can sue anybody with money, be it a disgruntled employee, a business associate, an unhappy customer, a con artist who fakes a fall in your retail establishment, etc. The best way to avoid lawsuits is to run a tight ship. Keep everything above board, especially taxes, because the government could be your worst enemy if you don't pay them. Have good management. Keep your paperwork in order. Don't doctor/fake anything like your records. Don't lie. Pay your bills. Deal fairly with everybody. Adhere to safety rules. Post safety signs up. Take quality control seriously enough to objective standards. Have your lawyer practice preventive law measures. Have written contracts for almost everything. Manage your cash flow so you have enough money to produce good product and pay your bills. Have a detailed company manual that covers every possible legal detail. Have a litigation plan set up as to what to do in case you get sued. Have your lawyer waiting and ready at all times. Try to resolve the lawsuit with either arbitration, mediation, or settling out of court. Sometimes, even if you are innocent, it's cheaper to settle than to bother with a trial. Even if you win, legal costs will often be more than an out-of-court settlement. Some companies disagree with settling even if it is cheaper. They want to fight lawsuits in order to preserve their integrity and send the message out that they're not pushovers who will cave into anyone who wants to sue them. After they win a few of these lawsuits, people get the message and stop suing them. Conversely, if you're a company who would rather settle, you might get a reputation as an easy mark and everyone will start suing you for that quick out-of-court settlement. Trade dress info. Trade dress is a concept similar to trademarks, which refers to the way a company presents itself to the public physically, its outer look, its layout, furniture, signs, paint color, packaging, atmosphere, etc. If someone tries to imitate it without permission, that's a trade dress violation. You just can't go into a McDonald's restaurant, take a bunch of pictures, copy all the ideas and designs of the layout and design a similar restaurant. They can sue you if they want. You can't just take a bag of chips off the shelf, copy its design and put it on your bags of chips. aicpa.org/pub/jofa/nov2002/prosser.htm, recent trends in trade dress law. ipla.org. allbusiness.com/legal. allbusiness.com/legal/511248-1.html. amazon.com/trade-law-door/dp/0735503001x. aplf.org/events/roundtables/2003-07-08.html. bookfinder.com/dir/trade_dress_law/0735506949. copylaw.com/new_articles/tradeaddress.html. cyberlaw.stanford.edu/freetags/trade-dress. cybertriallawyer.com/trademark-infringement. designlawgroup.com/tools_trademark.cfm, trade dress law. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/trade_dress. Into.org, the development and evolution of trade dress law in the U.S. intellectlawgroup.com/tradeaddress.htm. ipwatchdog.com/trademark.html. lanepowell.com/pdf/pub/bachmanc_001.pdf, trade dress litigation presented to the Oregon Law Institute. law.com. law.cornell.edu. law.jrank.org/pages/10842/trade-dress.html. lawlibrary.ucdavis.edu/lawlib/dis02/0229.html, trade dress law. ll-a.com/welch/trade-dress-tabak2004.pdf. lumishellfish.com/trade-dress-law.html. pttf.com. tomwbell.com/writings/fullvtd.html, virtual trade dress. westerniplaw.com/tradeaddress.html, San Diego and Houston trademark attorneys. wemeltlaw.com/_WSN/page16.html, trade dress overview. yarbroughlaw.com/patentarticles/tradeaddress2.htm, media, PA. Chapter 3. Uniform Commercial Code. Uniform Commercial Code/UCC. The Uniform Commercial Code, UCC, is a body of law that combines statutory and case law for business. Every state puts together a comprehensive group of statutes that cover the major areas of business transactions. The UCC is subdivided into articles that cover the different aspects of business law. The uniformity aspect means there are agreed-upon UCC laws across the country in every state. law.cornell.edu/UCC/UCC.table.html, Uniform Commercial Code. law.upenn.edu/bll/ulc/ulc_frame. nccusl.org, National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws. State offices of the Uniform Commercial Code. Below is a listing of the state offices of the Office of Uniform Commercial Code. If writing, preface your letter with, Office of Uniform Commercial Code. Alabama. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 11S. Union St. Number 207. Montgomery, Alabama 36104. 334-242-5231. sos.state.al.us/sosinfo/inquiry.cfm. Alaska. UCC Central File Office. State Recorder. 550 West 7th Avenue. Number 1200A. Anchorage, Alaska 99501-3564. 907-269-8873-8881. 907-762-2104. Fax, 907-269-8899. dnr.state.ak.us/ssd/ucc/index.cfm. dnr.state.ak.us/ssd/ucc/search. Arizona. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 1700 W. Washington. 7th FL. Phoenix, Arizona 85007. 602-542-6178. Fax, 602-542-7386. socaz.com. Arkansas. UCC Division. Secretary of State. Number 25 State Capital. Little Rock, Arkansas 72201. 501-682-5078. sosweb.state.ar.us. California. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 1500 11th St. 2nd FL. Sacramento, California 95814. 916-653-3516. 916-445-8061. ss.ca.gov. Colorado. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 1560 Broadway. Number 200. Denver, Colorado 80202. 303-894-2200. Fax, 303-869-4864. sos.state.co.us. Connecticut. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 30 Trinity St. Hartford, Connecticut 06106. 860-566-4021. 860-509-6004. Fax, 860-509-6069. sots.state.ct.us. Delaware. John Townsend Building. Dover, Delaware 19903. 302-739-4279. DC, City of Washington. UCC Recorder. Recorder of Deeds. 515 D. St. N.W. Washington, D.C. 20001. 202-727-0400. 202-727-5374. countyrecords.landata.com/WashDC. Florida. UCC Division. 2670 Executive Center Circle. W. Number 100. Tallahassee, Florida 32301. 850-222-8526. 850-487-6845. Fax, 850-487-6013. FloridaUCC.com. Georgia. Superior Court Clerks. Cooperative Authority. 1875 Century Boulevard. Number 100. Atlanta, Georgia 30345. 404-327-9058. Fax, 404-327-7877. gsccca.org. Hawaii. POG 2867. Honolulu, Hawaii 96803. 808-548-3108. ehawaiigov.org. businessregistrations.com. Idaho. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 700 W. Jefferson. State House. Boise, Idaho 83720. 208-334-3191. Fax, 208-334-2847. idsos.state.id.us. accessidaho.org/secure/sos/lean/search. Illinois. 30 Centennial Building. 2nd and Edwards STS. Springfield, Illinois 62756. 217-782-7518. Fax, 217-782-4528. sos.state.il.us. Indiana. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 302 West Washington St. Number E018. Indianapolis, Indiana 46204. 317-233-3984. Fax, 317-233-3387. in.gov/sos/business/UCC. ai.org/sos/bus_service/online_UCC/browse/default.asp. Iowa. UCC Division. Secretary of State. Hoover Building. 2nd FL. Des Moines, Iowa 50319. 515-281-5204. Fax, 515-242-6556. sos.state.ia.us. Kansas. UCC Division. Secretary of State. State Capital. Topeka, Kansas 66612. 785-296-3650-1849. Fax, 785-296-3659. kssos.org/uccwilk. accesskansas.org. Kentucky. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 363 Versailles Road. Mare Manor. Frankfort, Kentucky 40601. 502-564-2848. 502-573-0265. Fax, 502-573-0259. kysos.com. Louisiana. UCC Division. Secretary of State. POB 94125. Baton Rouge, Louisiana 70804-9125. 800-256-3758. 225-922-2880. Fax, 225-342-7011. sec.state.la.us/comm/UCC-index. Maine. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 101 State House Station. Augusta, Maine 04333-0101. 207-289-4177. 207-624-7752. Fax, 207-287-5874. state.me.us/sos/cec/corp. Maryland. UCC Division. Department of Assessments and Taxation. 301 West Preston St. Baltimore, Maryland 21201. 410-767-1340. 410-225-1340. Fax, 410-333-7097. sdatcert3.resiusa.org/ucc-charter. dat.state.md.us/realprop. Massachusetts. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 1 Ashburton Place. Number 1711. Boston, Massachusetts 02108. 617-727-2860. 900-555-4500. 900-555-4600. state.ma.us/sec. corp.sec.state.ma.us/portal/functionality/search. Michigan. 7064 Crowner Drive, Lansing, Michigan 48909. 517-322-1495. Michigan.gov/CIS. Minnesota. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 180 State Office Building. St. Paul, Minnesota 55155-1299. 877-551-6767. 651-296-2434 2803. Fax, 651-215-1009. sos.state.mn.us. Mississippi. Business Services. Secretary of State. 202 North Congress St. Number 601. Jackson, Mississippi 39201. 800-256-3494. 601-359-1614 1633. Fax, 601-359-1607. sos.state.ms.us. sos.state.ms.us/busrv/ucc/soskb/searches/tnardra9.asp. Missouri. UCC Division. Secretary of State. POB 1159. Jefferson City, Missouri 65102. 573-751-2360. Fax, 573-522-2057. sos.state.mo.us/ucc. Montana. Business Services. Secretary of State. Capital STA. 2nd FL. Helena, Montana 59620. 406-444-3665. Fax, 406-444-3976. sos.state.mt.us/css. Nebraska. UCC Division. Secretary of State. POB 95104. 301 Centennial Mall. Lincoln, Nebraska 68509. 402-471-4080. Fax, 402-471-4429. sos.state.ne.us/htm/UCC menu. Nevada. UCC Division. Secretary of State. Capitol Complex. 200 North Carson St. Carson City, Nevada 89701-4069. 775-687-5298. 775-684-5708. Fax, 775-684-5630. sos.state.nv.us. New Hampshire. 204 State House. Concord, New Hampshire 03301. 603-271-3276. State.nh.us. New Jersey. UCC Division. Secretary of State. State Capitol Building. POB 303. Trenton, New Jersey 08625. 609-536-6426. 609-292-9292. State.nj.us/ngbgs. accessnet.state.nj.us/home. New Mexico. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 400 Legislative Building. Santa Fe, New Mexico 87503. 505-827-3600-3610. Fax, 505-827-3611. sos.state.nm.us/ucc/UCC home. New York. POB 7021. Albany, New York 12225. 518-474-56 4763. dos.state.ny.us. North Carolina. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 300 North Salisbury St. Raleigh, North Carolina 27611. 919-733-4205. 919-807-2111. Fax, 919-807-2120. Secretary.state.nc.us/UCC. North Dakota. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 600 Boulevard. Hawaii. Capitol Building. Bismarck, North Dakota 58505-0500. 701-224-3662. Fax, 701-328-4214. State.nd.us/SEC. Ohio. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 180 East Broad St. 16th FL. Columbus, Ohio 43215. 877-767-3453. 614-466-9316. Fax, 614-466-2892. State.oh.us/SOS. Oklahoma. UCC Recorder. Oklahoma County Clerk. 320 Robert S. Kerr. Number 105. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73102. 405-278-1521. 405-713-1521. Fax, 405-713-1810. oklahomacounty.org/county clerk. oklahomacounty.org/co clerk. Oregon. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 225 Capitol St. Northeast. Number 151. Salem, Oregon 97310-1327. 503-378-4146. 503-986-2200. Fax, 503-373-1166. sos.state.or.us/corporation. Pennsylvania. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 206 N Office Building. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania 17120. 717-787-8712-1057. Fax, 717-783-2244. dos.state.pa/core/site/default.asp. Rhode Island. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 100 North Main St. Providence, Rhode Island 02903. 401-277-2521. 155.212.254.78/corporations. South Carolina. UCC Division. Secretary of State. POB 11350. Columbia, South Carolina 29211. 803-734-2175, 1961. Fax, 803-734-2164. scsos.com/uniform_commercial_code.hdm. South Dakota. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 500 E Capitol. Pierre, South Dakota 57501. 605-773-4422. Fax, 605-773-4550. State.sd.us/sos/sos. Tennessee. Business Services. Secretary of State. J.K. Polk Building. 312 8th Avenue North. Nashville, Tennessee 37243. 615-741-3276. Fax, 615-741-7310. State.tn.us/SOS. Texas. UCC Division. Secretary of State. epub 13193. Austin, Texas 78711-3193. 512-475-2705. Fax, 512-475-2812. sos.state.tx.us/UCC. Utah. UCC Division. Department of Commerce. 160 E 300 South St. Heber M. Wells Building. 2nd FL. Salt Lake City, Utah 84111. 801-530-6020-4849. Fax, 801-530-6438. commerce.utah.gov/cor. utah.gov/UCC search by Vermont. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 81 River St. Drawer 4. Montpelier, Vermont 05609-1101. 802-828-2388-2386. Fax, 802-828-2853. sec.state.vt.us/core/corpindex. Virginia. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 1220 Bank St. Richmond, Virginia 23209. 804-786-3689. state.va.us/scc/division/CLK/Dirac-C. Washington. Department of Licensing. UCC Division. 405 Black Lake Boulevard. Olympia, Washington 98502. 360-753-2523. 360-664-1530. Fax, 360-586-4414. wa.gov/dol/UCC. West Virginia. UCC Division. Secretary of State. 1900 Kanawha Building. 1. Number 131 W. Charleston, West Virginia 25305. 304-345-4000. 304-558-8000. Fax, 304-558-0900. wvsos.com/common. state.wv.us/wv corporation/verify-logon.asp. Wisconsin. Department of Financial Institutions. Corporate and Consumer Services. UCC Division. 345 West Washington Avenue. 3rd FL. Madison, Wisconsin 53703. 608-266-3087. 608-261-9548. Fax, 608-264-7965. wdfi.org/UCC/search. Wyoming. UCC Division. Secretary of State. Capitol Building. Cheyenne, Wyoming 82002-0020. 307-777-5372. Fax, 307-777-5988. soswy.state.wy.us. Uniform Commercial Code Filing Websites. Whenever somebody borrows money from a financial institution and puts something up as collateral, either property like a car or real estate like a house, this is recorded by law at the Office of Uniform Commercial Code, a state government office, to provide a database for other potential lenders or potential buyers of these types of things, cars and houses, to give them an idea of what this person or business has already pledged as collateral and whether he, she, or the business is trying to sell something that has this collateral lien on it. These collateral liens are filed at the county and state level. These records are available to the public, sometimes for free, sometimes for a fee. Simply contact the Office of Uniform Commercial Code and ask for a search of the particular company or individual you are interested in. Uniform Commercial Code filings for corporations are generally held in the state where the corporation is headquartered, meaning which state it files for incorporation with the state government, not where its branch plants are located. The law covering this is called Revised Article 9. Federal tax liens may be the exception to this, possibly filed in the place where the relevant business is conducted, therefore the particular corporate office in that state. law.cornell.edu/UCC law.uh.edu/UCC2b bank.com/pdrstore, 800-892-4235 capitallien.com, 800-845-4077 UCC choicepointonline.com, 888-333-3365 UCC legal, real estate, etc. cis-usa.com, diligence.com, ernst.cc, 800-345-3822, UCC, real estate, governit.net, UCC, business, etc. intercountyclearance.com, 800-342-3676, landaccess.com, 800-800-7009, real estate, UCC, lexisnexis.com, nationsdata.com, nsii.net, 800-235-0337, pdcnewyork.com, New York, quickienfo.net, realtydata.com, sddt.com, 800-697-6397, California Bankruptcy, UCC, real estate, CirceNetworkLtd.com, 800-383-5050, UCC, Iowa, Kansas, SoftwareManagementIncture.com, 800-466-9445, real estate, UCC, Kentucky, SuperiorInfo.com, 800-848-0489, bankruptcy, corporate, real estate, UCC, UCCdirect.com, 800-833-5778, also bankruptcy, Unisearch.com, 800-722-0708, uscorpserve.com, 800-327-1886, Minnesota. Chapter 4. Laws and Rules of Mail Order. Mail Order Laws. You do not need a special federal or state permit to operate a mail order/internet sales business. The material you sell must be legitimate, however, and you cannot be deceptive or misleading in claims or advertising. If you offer something free, it must be free and all claims concerning money must be honored. If you use testimonials in advertising, they must be real and available to investigation. Frauds are discovered and are prosecuted. The federal and state governments require you to report all income, but you certainly can take every legal deduction. Once you make a good deal of money, it's often worth every penny to have an accountant fill in your forms. If your income warrants it, you will be expected to pay income tax quarterly. Most states have sales tax, so you'll have to find out the regulations concerning the collection and payment of these fees. An advantage to this, however, is that you can get a state resale number and may not have to pay state sales tax on some of the items you need for your business. If you keep accurate records and report the proper information to the authorities, you'll have no problems. Mail order complaints. If you ever receive one of those letters from a postal inspector stating that the mail order/internet sales program you're promoting might be in violation of postal law or regulations, simply fill out the form they have enclosed and send it back in. Quit promoting that mail order/internet sales program. A letter from the post office simply means quit promoting the program they have requested. I would be willing to say that most mail order/internet sales programs are ordered to stop for one or two reasons. The person who originated the program promised too much and got behind on filling his orders, or some people became too impatient waiting to receive their order and turned in a complaint. The complaint is sent to a postal inspector who, in turn, sends a form letter to the person conducting the sale of the program, asking it be stopped. A lot of good mail order/internet sales programs have been stopped because of one person who complained to a postal inspector. Just one dissatisfied customer can ruin your mail order/internet sales program, so keep everyone happy. Honest mistakes can happen, but remember the customer is always right. Work to fix any mistakes immediately and keep the customer informed of all progress. This, combined with honest mail order/internet sales programs, will prevent those postal inspector letters. Laws regarding mail order. In general, it's against the postal regulations to utilize the U.S. Mail Service to transport hazardous materials, pornographic materials, and chain letters involving money. For more specific information, write to Consumer Advocate, U.S. Postal Service, 475 L'Enfant Plaza West, Washington, D.C. 20260, USPS.gov. You may also obtain a free copy of the Consumer's Resource Handbook. It's designed to help consumers resolve complaints about goods and services with local, federal and state agencies. Write to Consumer Information Center, Department 532, Pueblo, Colorado 81009, 888-8 Pueblo, pueblo.gsa.gov. A selling by mail booklet can be obtained from Small Business Administration, 409 3rd St. Washington, D.C. 20416 to 1110. SBA.gov. The mail order/internet sales rule can be obtained from Federal Trade Commission, Publishing Office, Number 130. 6th and Pennsylvania Ave, Washington, D.C. 20580-0001. FTC.gov. Chapter 5. Mail order for the consumer. The legal aspects of mail order. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission has rules that give customers certain rights when they order by mail. Mail order customers have a right to know when they can expect their order to be shipped. In a nutshell, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you hassle a company that gave you poor service by getting the various consumer protection agencies to send them query letters about the complaint, if they're a respectable, solid company, they'll refund your money just to get rid of you, although some won't. There are some sleazy companies out there, although most established mail order dealers want to stay in business, so they treat customers right. Federal Mail Order Rules, 16 CFR 435, require companies that take consumers' orders by mail to ship the merchandise within 30 days of receiving a completed order, or within a different time frame if it is stated in their ads. Notify consumers if shipment can't be made on time and give them the choice of waiting longer or receiving refunds and cancel their orders and return their money, or give them credits on their charge accounts if the revised shipping date can't be met, unless the consumers agree to another delay. There also might be laws regarding mail order in your state. Contact your state or local consumer protection agency. Mail order is a prime stomping ground for con artists. According to the 30-day rule enacted by the Federal Trade Commission, FTC.gov, if you don't receive the item, within 30 days or the time stated, such as 4 to 6 weeks, you're entitled to a refund within 7 days, no questions asked. If you don't get satisfaction in any aspect of mail order, you have several channels of complaint. First, you can send the company a letter or two stating your position, then, if they don't respond, send them a letter threatening to cause them greater damage than your paltry order was worth and include the addresses of several consumer protection agencies in it. Tell them that you're gonna write them all poison letters until you get justice. If that doesn't work, stay true to your word and start writing letters. Contact the Direct Marketing Association, Better Business Bureau, the Consumer Protection Agency, the U.S. Postal Service and the State Attorney's Office where the company is located. The Direct Marketing Association, fedma.org, a membership organization made up of mail order companies, acts as the unofficial mediator of mail order complaints. Even if the mail order company is not affiliated with them, they will contact it and try to resolve your problem. Next, I would write to the Federal Trade Commission, ftc.gov, just to register the complaint. They won't take individual action about any one particular problem, but if they get enough complaints about this company, they'll investigate them. The next action-oriented agency is the U.S. Postal Service, USPS.gov, which goes out and investigates mail order fraud in a full-fledged law enforcement manner. The Consumer Advocate's Office of the USPS, USPS.gov, is different from the Postal Inspector's Office, so if you contact them both, they may each investigate your problem separately, which is good because you're dealing with a bureaucracy that sometimes doesn't move as fast as you would like it to. A definition of fraud is when they deliberately mislead the consumer in some way by misrepresenting themselves and/or their products as something better than they actually are. It's a fuzzy area. For example, if they show nice pictures of products in their catalog, then when you get them, they're just pieces of cheap plastic. It's questionable as to whether you can sue, and it's questionable if you would bother wasting your time doing it. Most people just write it off to experience, and that's what the unscrupulous mail order con artist is banking on, that he hooked you and sucked you in, and it's too trivial for you to worry about. The best piece of advice I can give is to check a company out first with the Direct Marketing Association, State Consumer Protection Agency or the Better Business Bureau before you order, to see how long they've been in business, whether anyone has heard of them before, and if they have any complaints against them. Only buy from catalogs that seem legitimate, meaning a street address and merchant credit card ability, but even then, you're still not guaranteed protection. There are companies out there that copy the catalogs of legitimate companies, send a bunch out unsolicited, take a bunch of orders, then about 3 months later, they're gone to set it up all over again with another catalog. Regardless of all the fraud, mail order is truly the thing of the future, and there are many reputable companies out there that prefer to do business for the long run rather than try to rip you off on a one-shot deal, so don't be too cynical about it, just be wary before buying something directly through the mail. There isn't anything that special out there that you need to buy directly from a piddly ad somewhere. Get a catalog if they have one, check it for some kind of warranty or a statement declaring the terms of the sale. Most reputable companies will include something like this in their catalogs. Try to pay by credit card or check. Start off by ordering a low-priced item, and if you get good service, escalate up from there over repeated orders. If an order is lost in the mail, the company is responsible for replacing it. When ordering by mail order, write the company's address on the check so that if you don't get your merchandise, you'll have their address handy on the cancelled check to complain. If you don't like the product, it hasn't met your expectations, or it arrives damaged, package it all up and send it back immediately and get a receipt from the post office verifying that you've sent it. I've ordered things that I've never gotten, but I lost the address, so I couldn't complain to them. Many mail order companies have liberal return policies to entice customers, so they should send you a refund or credit for your next order. This is why credit card payment is the best way to go, because you always have a record of the payment and you can pursue them to cancel the charges if you have to. When you complain to a credit card company, most do an immediate chargeback and lay the loss on the dealer, but lately I have seen credit companies refuse to get involved. They send you a letter stating it's between you and the vendor and not their problem. Some credit card companies will eat the charges if you get poor service through a dealer and don't get satisfaction from him or her. When you get poor service from a vendor, send a letter to the credit card company telling them about this unscrupulous dealer and they might reverse the charges. If you receive unsolicited products, you're legally entitled to keep them. If you bought a defective product through an ad in a magazine or from TV, contact the originating medium, magazine, TV, etc., and tell them about it. Even though they're not responsible, it may be enough to stop them from accepting future ads from the problem company. You might not be able to physically go over and confront the people, but you can make life miserable for them such that they regret ever having crossed you. The 30-day rule technically starts when the company receives your order. If they can't fulfill the order within 30 days, they're supposed to send you a letter stating such and giving you the option of canceling out or waiting a little longer. The 30-day rule also requires that they do it at no cost to you, thus providing you with a postage-paid envelope in which to reply. Photo finishing services and gardening product companies are exempt from the 30-day rule. Keep a record of the name, address and phone number of the company, goods you ordered, date of your order, amount you paid and method of payment. Keep a record of any delivery period that was promised. If you are told that the shipment will be delayed, write the date of that notice in your records and the new shipping date if you've agreed to wait longer. When you use your credit card for mail order purchases and you don't receive the goods or services, or they were defective or misrepresented, use your credit card protection rights to nullify the purchase. If you see a product advertised somewhere that's too good to be true, it probably is. Don't be shy about contacting the postal inspector. Sending cash leaves no record of your order, meaning it will be very difficult to prove your case should it ever get that far. Phony insurance, credit repair, credit card acquisition for a fee, loans for a fee are all tried and true mail order/internet sales scams. Promises of beauty, health, and wealth are the biggest mail order/internet sales scams that just keep going on and on. A popular scam is for a con man to send solicitations to businessmen/company owners, asking to either advertise in a phony, non-existent magazine or directory, or to donate $20 or so to something like a policeman's service club, and their company name will be prominently printed in the yearbook or something like that. Charities are another big mail order/internet sales scam. Don't trust charities except for maybe the Salvation Army and a few others like a local, hands-on deal. Why does the president of the Red Cross get a 6-figure salary? And don't forget about the United Way with their high so-called administrative expenses. At a local policeman's food bank drive, many of the cops took large bags of food home for themselves. If you're really concerned about a particular, alleged charity, try to verify it through the National Charities Information Bureau. 19 Union Square West, NYC 10003. 212-929-6300. 800-501-6242. Give.org. A charity watchdog organization. They will provide you with information about how much a particular charity spends on altruistic things and how much on so-called administrative costs. Philanthropic Advisory Service. Council of Better Business Bureaus Inc. 4200 Wilson Boulevard, Arlington, Virginia 22203. 800-334-2406. 703-276-0100. 703-276-0133. bbb.org. They have a database of over 7,000 charities, will advise you on how to give your money and give you a book on the most popular charities and how they rate as legitimate operations. In order for you to claim an income tax deduction, the charity must be designated as a 501(c)(3) group. Be wary of mail orders/internet sales sweepstakes and contests, especially if they say you already won something. Check the catalog for some kind of warranty or a statement declaring the terms of the sale. Most reputable companies will include something like this in their catalogs. Consumer mail order organizations. Consumer assistance books are at number 381 and number 640 at the library. You might find a shopping book or two at number 381. Get the free Consumer's Resource Handbook and the publications catalog from the federal government's Consumer Information Center, Pueblo, Colorado 81009 pueblo.gsa.gov, 202-208-7679, 888-8 Pueblo. It contains listings of consumer protection agencies, major corporations, trade organizations plus the addresses of many state government agencies. For information on the web about any state government, use the following formula. State point two-letter abbreviation .us, for example. State.al.us for Alabama. Center for the Study of Services. 733 15th St. Northwest. Washington, D.C. 20005. 202-347-7283. Fax, 202-347-4000. Checkbook.org. Many free booklets, also products database. Consumer Fraud Hotline, National. 800-876-7060. Advice and Pamphlets. Direct Marketing Association, DMA. Mail Order Action Line. 1120 Avenue of the Americas. NYC 10036. 212-768-7277. Fax, 212-768-4547. Consumer at the-dma.org. the-dma.org. They will investigate your complaint against a mail order company and get your name removed from unwanted mailing lists. Mail Order Association. 1877, born St. Wantoff, New York 11793. 516-221-8257. Federal Trade Commission. 6th and Pennsylvania Ave. NW. Number 130. Washington, D.C. 20580. 202-523-3598. ftc.gov. Free booklet, a business guide to the FTC's mail or telephone order merchandise rule. Report your complaint to them. Although they won't address you directly, they will investigate the company if they get enough complaints. Major Appliance Consumer Action Panel. 20 North Wacker Drive. Chicago, Illinois 60606. 800-621-0477. National Consumers League. 815 15th St. Northwest. Number 928. Washington, D.C. 20005. 800-639-8140. nclnet.org. Consumer watchdog organization which processes complaints and offers pamphlets. National Electronics Service Dealers Association. 2708 Westbury St. Number 3. FT. Worth, Texas 76109-2397. If you have a problem with an electronic component, they may help you resolve it. National Mail Order Association. 612-788-1673. nmoa.org. U.S. Postal Service. Consumer Advocate. 475 L'Enfant Plaza SW. Number 5911. Washington, D.C. 20260-2202. USPS.gov. United States Postal Service. Chief Postal Inspector. Number 3021. Washington, D.C. 20260. USPS.gov. U.S. Post Office Crime Hotline. 800-654-8896. USPS.gov. Report postal crimes. Mail fraud. When the mails are used to intentionally misrepresent a product or service, it constitutes mail fraud. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service is charged with investigating violations of the law, usually in response to consumer complaints. The best way to protect yourself from mail fraud is to recognize that it's a fraud and not become involved. This is not easy to do because of the attractive wording in the deceptive ads. Anything that sounds too good to believe is suspect. Medical formulas and gadgets that make insane promises are probably insane and you should stay away from them. Especially be cautious regarding some of the thousands of different weight loss products and overnight cures. Never purchase land through a mail order ad unless you or your personal representative has seen the land, it's as represented and the value is there. If the salesperson has shown you the property report, you can cancel your purchase agreement within 7 days. If no report was shown to you before signing an agreement, you have the right to cancel out within 2 years. There are a number of insurance frauds floating through the mails. Requests to sign blank insurance forms, last chance bargain offers, payments in advance and cash payment requirements could indicate con artists at work. Most everyone has received chain letters sometime in their lifetime, and if you are in the mail order business you should get several every day as a minimum. Chain letters are illegal and do not work anyway. We have all seen the ads offering job placement and job opportunities. Most of them are legitimate, but some are 100% non-existent or complete misrepresentations. Don't spend your money for the required fee until you have checked with your local consumer affairs office or Better Business Bureau. Then there are those who promise huge profits without risk in commodities, stocks, oil, gold, silver, or coins, through the mail or over the telephone. There are hundreds of very fine investment opportunities offered, but you can't risk your hard-earned cash or possibly lose your life savings to mail order or telephone swindlers. Several of the larger, well-recognized firms have gone bankrupt through fraud and management manipulations, carrying clients' investments right down the drain with them. Always use caution and investigate the company thoroughly before you put up one dime. Another favorite of the crooks is home improvements. Quite often you never see them after you sign a contract and pay them a deposit to do the work. If they send brochures through the mail and the work they perform is not as represented, it could constitute mail fraud. Get estimates from local service companies to determine if the price of the mail order offering is reasonable and in line. Check the references of the organization. The laws, regulations, and paperwork involved in setting up franchise operations are horrendous. Various large distributorships are equally difficult to establish but generally do not have to conform to near as many controls and regulations. On the other hand, some mail-order distributorships and wholesale outlets require very little effort and the home company has little control over their activities. If profits promised are unrealistic or if the product or service is secondary to selling the franchise or distributorship, proceed with caution. In order to avoid mail fraud, read the offer carefully. Get the advice of another person whose opinion you trust. Deal only with companies or charities whose reputation and integrity are known. Never give your credit card number or personal, financial or employment information unless you know with whom you're dealing. Never send money for any free merchandise or services. Be careful of making impulse purchases. Keep a record of the order, notes of the conversation and copies of the advertisement, cancelled check, receipt, letters, and envelopes. Take the time to shop locally and compare products, services, and prices to those in local stores. Check out the company with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, your state or local consumer protection agency, or the Better Business Bureau. Mail fraud is a federal crime. Using your credit card or a money order might give you some recourse if you have a problem, despite your carefulness. Mail order scams. Mail fraud is rampant because the con artist just has to send out mail and know that a certain percentage of suckers will respond. Legitimate scams are barely legal schemes that are rip-offs but legal according to the bounds of the law. You can't complain that your order was not filled. You can't complain the idea is not possible. You can't complain the ad promised something it didn't deliver. The con man's weapon is ignorance and apathy. He knows that you or any of the authorities probably won't waste much time and resources chasing him, and even if he's caught, he will probably just cruise through the legal system and get a slap on the wrist. U.S. Postal Service. Consumer Advocate. 475 L'Enfant Plaza SW. Number 5911. Washington, D.C. 20260-2202. 800-654-8896. USPS.gov. If a mail order company is scamming you, report them. Some ads for mail order scams are: establish AAA credit in 30 days. All you do is take $500, deposit it in a bank and then ask the bank for a $500 loan, holding your original $500 as collateral. After getting this loan, you go to another bank and do the same thing. Within 30 days, you actually can be approved for 4 different bank loans, and when you repay them you have AAA credit. Wipe out debts without filing bankruptcy. If you owe 20 different creditors, it's common knowledge that only 1 or 2 will show up for your creditor's hearing, less if you owe less than $5,000 per creditor. You won't have to file a bankruptcy on the other 18 or so that don't show up personally, thereby wiping out your debt with these particular creditors. Refer to the Wage Earner Plan. How to stop credit collectors dead in their tracks. Just demand that all further correspondence about your debt be mailed to your home. By law, the credit collection agency cannot call you at home or at work again. That's why it's best to send this demand in writing by certified mail. This will stop them immediately. Federal jobs. This information can easily be found in almost any public library and in my job book. There is no reason for you to pay for it. Drug seized cars and homes. Again, this information can be found free of charge in any public library or in a few of my books. How to live abroad free. Universities and businesses in foreign countries pay decent salaries to English teachers, but you have to take a course for $2,000. Earn money reading newspapers. This legitimate scam involves being in the middle of a real estate deal. You locate properties for sale by owner and hook them up with buyers and charge a nice profit for your services. College degrees by mail. These are imitation degrees you can buy for $50 and $100 for novelty purposes. Many companies sell them through the ads of national magazines. Borrow money interest-free. If you have good credit, you can apply for overdraft protection at your bank. By setting up 2 or more checking accounts with overdraft protection, you can write checks on money you don't have. Before the check clears the bank, you simply write another check, from one of your other accounts, to cover it. Keep doing this back and forth between your 2 or more accounts, commonly known as check kiting, and you can have extra cash interest-free. Live in a $150,000 home free. Become a house sitter while the owners are away on vacation or other business-related trips. Of course you must have references. Get a free Mercedes or other luxury car every year. Form a non-profit institution and have this institution furnish you with the vehicle of your choice. Another way is to become a used car salesman and qualify for a new car by selling the most cars for the dealership. Still another way is to become a Mary Kay Cosmetics dealer. Get the picture? 50% off hotels. Just tell the desk clerk when you check in that you are a government employee and qualify for the lowest rate. Most do not ask for identification, but if they do, tell them you left it in the car and try another hotel. Collect names for us. We pay $20 each. Guaranteed. The truth is, this company will pay you $20 for each name you collect for them. What they don't tell you is that each person has to spend $100 or more by placing an order before you get your $20. How to get 100,000 people to send you $10 each. This is cute advertising. For mail order neophytes, this is very intriguing. What the beginner finds out is that they are expected to run the same ad in newspapers and tabloids. Low price offers. A ridiculously low price is often the bait used by those who do not intend to furnish the goods ordered through the mail. If you get an offer to purchase an item for $10 that usually sells in the local hardware store for $75, there's got to be something wrong. Either the merchandise is stolen, inferior, or it won't be delivered. Insurance fraud. Drivers who have a bad accident or their driving record is not so good, may not be able to purchase auto liability insurance from the regular insurance companies. Fraudulent insurance companies compile name lists of likely prospects, make mail solicitations, etc., and will write insurance policies for anyone who will hand over a premium. The reserve funds they're required to set aside for payment of claims are manipulated into the promoters' pockets, while they pay only minor claims and hold up larger claims as long as possible until their insurance company goes into bankruptcy. This leaves many unable to collect legitimate claims. Thousands more finally discover that they have been paying high-rate premiums with no protection from liability. Best bet: purchase your insurance locally or check out the mail order company with your state insurance department. Retirement homes. The little 80-year-old lady who had just lost her husband a year ago and 160 other retired residents of Sunrise Manor just lost their investment and perhaps their final home. Sunrise Manor was a beautiful setup, separate little apartments condominium style with wide carpeted hallways leading to the dining room, game rooms, healthcare center, etc. The grounds were immaculate, with green grass, trees, and beautiful flowers. They had been solicited through the mail with glowing information about the manor. It was all true. A really good deal for the retired person. The initial fee for those who first signed up for a small room was $18,000 cash. Larger quarters ranged from $30,000 to $60,000. This initial fee was to be placed in a trust account, the interest to be used for capital outlay requirements, and most of the principal was to go to the heirs upon the death of the tenants. Monthly rent was nominal and included meals and limited medical care in the healthcare center, which was built in part of the manor. It was so attractive from a personal and financial aspect that there was always a waiting list of qualified persons who wanted to make their home in the manor. What happened? Apparently only the management knows as of this writing, but an enormous amount of funds are missing, and overnight the manor was placed into bankruptcy. The court-appointed trustee is trying to put the pieces together while the prosecuting attorney is investigating the activities of the owner-management team. It appears the tenant's $18,000 to $60,000 investment is long gone. Apparently it was not retained in a proper trust account, a great deal of it was used for other than company business and being set up within the capital structure of the organization. Whatever may remain or be recovered, is subject to an enormous amount of creditors' claims. Unordered merchandise. Most people feel obligated to pay for small inexpensive items received through the mail, even though they did not order it. If this happens to you and you have not yet opened the package, merely write return to sender and let the post office take it from there. If you have taken it out of the package and it's something you have no use for, it's a good idea to keep it for a reasonable period of time and see if the party sending it makes claim to it or bills you for it. If they claim it, you may wish to be courteous and send it back cod. If they bill you, you really have no obligation to pay for it. You may want to consider it as an unconditional gift. Pressure your neighbor. You will get yours free from the commissions you make from selling the product to your neighbors. So you give the canned sales pitch to your friend, and rather than have you think he's a cornball, he purchases the product. He again repeats the process with his relatives, etc., and you get a cut from what they sell, and so it goes, down the line for 3 to 5 multi-level commissioneering stages. When the product is delivered, it's not what it was represented to be, and you find that you could have bought it from the superdrug store at half the price. You're mad, your neighbors want to kill you, and the money-making multi-level dream comes to a screeching halt. All because of the wonderful new product advertised in the morning mail. Consolidate your debts. You have gotten yourself in over your head, and now there is no way you can meet all your monthly payments for your home, auto, appliances, credit card charges, etc. The ad states, "Make it easy on yourself. Just pay us one payment each month, small enough so that you can handle it, and we will arrange with your creditors to pay them off." That sounds good. Get the creditors off your back, but later you realize the monthly payments you're making to the consolidator go on practically forever. After adding commissions, fees and interest, you don't gain on the principal amount you're trying to liquidate. Read the large and small print. Chain letter. A chain letter is a letter you get in the mail saying you will make a lot of money if you send the people on a list printed there $1 or so each, put your name on the list and mail out X number of copies to keep this chain going. It's legal if nothing is offered but a chance to get rich, and the 20% response rate is overinflated. Still, this is how these people operate. They assume that a certain percentage of the population will answer and they will make their money that way. Charity and contributions. They just keep coming. The junk mail asking you to donate to worthy causes. To feed small children who are starving in Africa. To help the senator or congressman to fight for a cause. To stop the experimental use of animals. To help find a cure for human ills. To give money to the communists so they can fight against freedom, and to the freedom fighters so they can fight communism. Which ones are legitimate and merit your full support? Which ones are operated by swindlers? Who knows? The government gets into the act by cutting down the amount of legitimate contributions you can deduct from your income tax, and some TV ministries are going to hell unless they get $10 million by the end of the month, or unless their top officers can draw over $1 million a year and live in $2 million mansions. The only way you can know where your money is really going is to stick with the organizations you're 100% familiar with. Check with the Chamber of Commerce and the Better Business Bureau, or if you're planning on donating substantial amounts, analyze the organization's financial statements. Also review how it will affect your tax status. Work-at-home propositions. There are a number of good work-at-home programs, but there seems to be more of them that are losers. Everything from selling books through the mail or setting up a local secretarial service to sewing baby clothes. There is always an advance fee of some kind required for work-at-home projects. Some of them are good producers if a person stays with it long enough. Others work at it for months, hoping to break the 75 cents per hour barrier. You better think twice before paying for the chance to work at home. Medical fraud. Medical quacks preying on the ill, offering cures or medications through the mail, are gambling with their freedom. Medical fraud is one of the major priorities on the list of the Postal Service investigator, and the fraudulent quacks are generally put out of business before they can do any real damage. However, there are many programs, such as reducing diets, certain vitamin pills, hair restorers, and hundreds of cure-all drugs making the rounds in the mail across the country every day. Most of the products offered are a bad substitute for the real thing you could get through your doctor or from the local drug store. Even if the promoter's not convicted or fined, the Postal Service can deny him the right to receive remittances through the mail if it's determined that false representations have been made. Also, unless you watch your medical and hospital bills with a microscope, you can expect to get invoiced for hundreds to thousands of dollars from various labs around the country where they say your blood was sent for tests you didn't authorize or didn't even know existed. In fact, it usually doesn't do any good to use your microscope. Unless the hospital gets $4,000 out of you for a 4-day stay, they apparently will go bankrupt. Are you heir to a fortune? If you receive fancy-looking legal documents offering to provide information which could help establish a claim to an estate left by long-lost or deceased relative, worth several $1 million, forget it. Save your $10. You will receive the information, but it's just worthless paper telling you how to go about locating missing relatives or heirs. Fake contests. You get them in the mail every day. You have won. No purchase required. All you have to do is fill out the contest form, order the gadget if you wish, and send the order form along with your money. As long as you enjoy junk mail, want to waste a few stamps and get a thrill out of wanting to see if you have won anything, there is generally no real damage done, even though most of the come-on gimmicks are deceptive and often 100% misrepresentations. Correspondence courses. The promise of a good job or a money-making business of your own is usually the lure of fake correspondence schools. They guarantee that a job will be available when you complete the course. They will accept anyone who will sign a contract, making them liable for several $100s, usually paying on a monthly basis as they proceed through the course. There are always a few correspondence schools, promoted and handled through the mail, that have completely worthless programs. You could probably learn better and much more economically by checking in at your local library and searching out the hundreds of how-to-do-it books on just about every subject. Sending unordered parcels cod. It's fraud to send parcels cod, containing items not ordered by the recipient if the value is considerably below the cod price. Schemes to collect non-existent delinquent debts. Victims receive notice of alleged past due accounts or inquiries through official-looking documents requesting pertinent information. The information is then used against the victim in different ways in order to get his money. Sale of memberships in a buyer's discount club, whereby it's represented that members will save large sums of money by being a member and whereby savings are non-existent or remote. Mail order scams against business. Use of this information is your responsibility. I'm just the messenger. You're your own moral compass. If you're a business, be wary of these common scams. A lot of people try to scam companies doing business by mail. Some are as follows. Go to the magazine section of the library, get a bunch of those postage-paid postcard-style letters used for starting magazine subscriptions, fill them out and send them in with either a fake name or a variation of your real name. Magazines will come for several months until they realize you didn't pay the subscription. When you get a bill, simply X out the name, write on the letter, "Doesn't live here," return to sender and put it into a mailbox. Do the same deal with record clubs, tape clubs, etc. Anybody offering upfront promotional items with a deal where you have to buy more products down the line. Get the free books or whatever it is under a phony name and don't buy anything more. For phone number, either use a fake number or one that's almost always busy like the local government unemployment office. If you see an ad offering a catalog or info for a few bucks, send them a letter requesting the catalog but don't send any money. You could say your buddy recommended them to you, in which case don't give away the fact that you read the ad in a magazine. All post office boxes are just numbers, but companies code this part of their ads so they know who's responding to an ad from a particular magazine. Like if they advertise in Eating Well magazine, they might make their address POG 55EW, the EU signifying Eating Well magazine, so they know how many responses the ad pulled. So get rid of the EU and just address it to POG 55 to make it look like your buddy gave you the address and you look like you will be a good prospective customer. Order anything you want by mail order, but don't send a check or anything. Some orders might slip through and you will get the order anyway. Place an order, then when it comes, send them back a letter and say you got items A, B and C but didn't get D. They will send you a second item D. Fill out an order form, put it into an envelope, then make it look like it was tampered with by slitting the top then stapling it. If it's not an expensive item, the company will think somebody tampered with it and will send you the product. Get a rubber stamp made up saying exactly what the postal service would use in this format, damaged in handling in the postal service. Place an order but neglect to include the cost of 1 or 2 items as an honest mistake. It might work, it might not. Don't place an order but send a photocopy of a fake order form you filled out with a note saying you ordered the stuff 6 weeks ago and by the mail order rule, it should have been delivered within 30 days. If it's not a well-run company, they will give you the benefit of the doubt and send the product. For the above scam, they will usually send you the product if it's under $40, but if it's expensive, they will ask for proof of payment. You can make fake check endorsement by first buying something inexpensive from the company, then when you get the endorsed check back from the bank, go to a photocopy machine, magnify it in size and use liquid paper typing correction fluid to change it to look like a big ticket item, go back to the photocopying machine, shrink it down to size, and now you have photocopy proof of their endorsed check. You can do the same thing by buying a cheap money order and changing it to make it look like a higher endorsement. Merchant credit card scam for returned goods. A guy who works in retail told me a trick some merchants use to con people who bring back merchandise bought on a credit card and want their credit card credited with that amount. The merchant copies the price and item onto a credit slip, puts it into his imprinter and pushes it forward only but not backward. This prints the customer's name, account number, and expiration date on the card but nothing else. He then asks the customer to sign it. He keeps the original sales receipt and hands the customer the credit slip without his merchant number imprinted on it, so when the customer gets his credit card statement at the end of the month and sees that the credit is not on it, he has no evidence, no sales receipt, and only a credit slip that he could have forged. If you ever bring goods back bought on a credit card, make sure the merchant pushes his imprinter both forward and backward such that his merchant number is imprinted on the credit slip. Chapter 6. Product liability / products that cause injuries. Product safety and recalls. Knowing how to use products correctly, reading instructions and being alert to hazards will help to ensure a safe environment around you. You also should pay attention to product recalls in the news and consumer magazines. Several federal government agencies provide recall information on a variety of products, including toys, cars, child safety seats, food, and health and beauty aids. Read about major appliances, tools, and other items before you buy. There are several consumer magazines at the library which give detailed information on the prices, features, and safety of various products. consumerreports.org. Learn to use power tools and electrical appliances safely. If you don't know what a ground fault circuit interrupter, GFCI, is, find out. Read the instructions carefully before using the equipment. Don't use things for purposes the manufacturer never intended. Tools aren't kids' toys. If you spot a product defect, design flaw, allergic reaction, or hidden hazard, contact the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission or your state or local consumer protection agency. Read product labels. Some products can turn into deadly poisons when mixed with other products, stored improperly or used in poorly vented areas. Contact the Auto Safety Hotline at 800-424-9393 to report safety problems and to obtain recall and safety information on new and used cars, trucks, motorcycles, motor homes, child seats and other motor vehicle equipment. Recalls.gov. business.com/guides/product-safety-requirements-for-small-business-433, product safety requirements for small business, how-to guides. jcpenney.net/product recalls. product-liability-lawyer-attorneys.com. toyhazardrecalls.com. recall-warnings.com. recalledproduct.com. consumerjusticegroup.com. fda.gov/safety/recalls/default.htm. usrecallnews.com. recallannouncements.com. ul.com, Underwriter Labs list of approved products. Auto Safety Hotline. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Department of Transportation. Washington, D.C. 20590. 202-366-0123. 202-366-7800, TDD. 800-424-9393, toll-free outside D.C. 800-424-9153, toll-free TDD outside D.C. Vehicles, child safety seats and other motor vehicle equipment. NHTSA.gov. Consumer Product Safety Guide. 4025 West Peterson Avenue, Chicago, Illinois 60646. 800-224-8299. 800-492-8104. Free booklets. Product Safety Hotline. U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. Washington, D.C. 20207. 800-638-CPSC, toll-free. 800-492-8104, toll-free TDD in MD. 800-638-8270, toll-free TDD outside of MD. Fax, 301-504-0051. cpsc.gov. Free booklets. U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Recall and Emergency Coordinator. FDA.gov. Refer to the white pages of your local telephone book for your regional FDA office. Food, drugs, medical devices, such radiological products as microwave ovens, televisions, and sun lamps. Product safety websites. cpsc.gov, 800-638-2772, Product Safety Commission, Product Recalls. toy-tma.com, 800-851-9955, Toy Safety. ul.com, 847-272-8800, Underwriters Laboratories, information on products with the UL approved stamp on them. accessmylibrary.com/article-1G1-13284191-/product-safety-website-dow.html. allergyconsumerreview.com, air purifiers, humidifiers, etc. baker-law.com/bna-pht-hallets-regulation-for-toys-highlight-for-five-toys-for-five-and-hyphen-toys-for-hyphen-links.htm, bhsi.org/links.htm, Bicycle Helmet Safety Institute links page. business.com/guides/product-safety-requirements-for-small-business-for-433, product safety requirements for small business, how-to guides. Connections.org/cx-library/cx heading 11918.htm, product safety. consumersunion.org/pub/core_safety/0056240.html, children's product safety needs improvement. cpsc.gov, Consumer Product Safety Commission. cpsc.gov/cpscpub/prel/prel.html, cpsc recall announcements and product safety alerts. darling2.com/productsafety.aspx. demandbase.com/directory/product-safety-resources-inc-business-contacts. dow.com/productsafety, product safety. dow.com/productsafety/industry/enviro.htm, environment, health and safety. gallagher.com/cm/safety/finding-safe-products.asp. globaltooling.biz-hosting.com/resources/instructions-products.html, product instructions, operation and safety, resources. greenhomeguide.com, list of green products. hazard.com, Vermont Siri website. healthybuilding.net. highsafety.com/hsl/resources/services/audits-inspections/prod safety review.html, high safety consulting product safety review. householdproducts.nlm.nih.gov/recalls.htm, product recalls, household products database. intertech.com, product safety and training. justice.org/pressroom/facts/products/index.aspx. kaplanco.com/about/productsafety.asp. main.gov/beh/safety/generals/hand_safety.htm, hand tool safety. motorola.com/test-services/productsafety-testing.html, Motorola product testing services, product safety. nps.org/safety, product safety. oag.state.tx.us/consumer/product_safety.shtml, Texas Attorney General. parrotherm.com/safety.asp. pg.com, product safety. physique.com/company/r_commitment/product_safety.shtml. ppai.org/productsafety. product-safety.com, Engineering Services Corporation. productsafetyattorneys.com. Product Safety Attorneys, Product Safety Attorneys. productsafetyattorneys.com/helpful-resources. productsafetyattorneys.com/helpful-resources/product-safety-articles. productsafetyattorneys.com/index.php/psa/helpful-resources/product-safety-news/product-safety-newsletter-sign-up. productsafetylaw.net. productsafetyletter.com, Product Safety Letter. productsafetysolutions.com. prosarcorp.com, Prosar, Product Safety. quantico.usmc.mil/display.aspx $safety. recalls.gov. recalls.gov/cpsc.html, consumer product recall information. resources.bnet.com/topic/product-safety.html, product safety resources, net. resources.bnet.com/topic/product+safety.html, product safety resources, net. reala.org/supply/product safety. safer-products.org. safetyforum.com, Safety Forum, product safety news and resources. safetyforum.com/resources, consumer and legal resources. safetylink.com, comprehensive collection of electrical product safety and standards resources. smpl.org/websource/consumer/product-safety.htm, Santa Monica Public Library, web resources, product safety. trantolo.net/resources-product-safety.php. ul.com/product standards, Underwriters Lab. National Safety Council. 1121 Spring Lake Drive, Itasca, Illinois 60143-3201. 800-621-7619. 800-621-6244. 630-285-1121. Fax, 630-285-1315. nsc.org. Product liability info. The possibility of personal injury caused by a defective product is a matter of product liability law. It has been making inroads into standards of liability regarding vendors, distributors, and manufacturers of defective products. The spirit of product liability law is negligence and liability. In recent years, manufacturers have been encouraged to warn consumers of the potential dangers of a product, which is why you sometimes see ridiculous-looking warning labels on some products. It's there not necessarily to warn the consumer but to protect the manufacturer in case of a personal injury lawsuit. Most claims in a product's liability action are based on the contention that the manufacturer failed in its duty to warn consumers of a potential defect in the design or manufacture of the product in some way. So if a manufacturer knows that something in one of his products is defective but does nothing about it to warn consumers, that's a legal violation of product liability law. When you put any product up for sale on the market, there are several legal considerations you are responsible for, namely: does the product do what it purports to do? Is the normal, intended use of the product safe for all consumers including children? Regardless of if you are the manufacturer or retailer, there is potential product liability for you. Minimize risk by testing your product with outside agencies such that you have documentation that you had it tested and it's safe. Put any hazards or possible dangers clearly both on the package, in the instructions and on the product itself if you can. Instill quality control methods to make every widget as identical to every other as much as possible. Legally speaking, the manufacturer is the one in the business chain most likely to be charged for product liability violations. In general, the sellers/retailers are not responsible for a product's safety as long as several conditions are met, such as: they are not the creators, designers, or maker of the product. They did not know there was something wrong with the product. The problem was not obvious, something that couldn't be readily detected with just a look. They were not negligent. They used common sense in looking the product over to offer it for sale. The product was still in the original package from the manufacturer when sold. The seller did not do any assembly nor offered any advice about the product. Make sure that you know what safety laws are associated with your product and ensure that your product complies with them before you start selling. Don't underestimate a disclaimer on the label or packaging. Companies put all those seemingly inane disclaimers on their products to protect themselves legally in these litigious times. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, 800-638-2772, cpsc.gov, oversees the Consumer Product Safety Act, which protects the public against unreasonable risks of injury associated with consumer products. The CPSC oversees virtually all consumer products and children's toys. Be careful about the materials that you use in your products and make sure they meet all the guidelines required for safety. Go to cpsc.gov to check on the standards. The Flammable Fabrics Act, regulated by the CPSC, pertains to wearing apparel, bedding, and any other products that could catch fire easily through ordinary use. cpsc.gov/busy-nfo/8004. The Federal Hazardous Substances Act deals with products that are toxic or corrosive, that are irritants or that are strong sensitizers, like lye. If you use these products in the production of your products or in them, check to make sure that you are in compliance with regulations and laws. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, FDA.gov, regularly makes random lead tests of food container products, so if your business is food containers, go easy on the lead content. The standard is less than 0.5 parts per million. The Federal Fair Packaging and Labeling Act requires that a label identify most products which show the name of the manufacturer or distributor and the net quantity of the contents. You can get a copy of this law from the Federal Trade Commission, Washington, D.C. 20580ftc.gov. The content labeling law is part of the Textile Fiber Productions Identification Act, which is monitored by the Federal Trade Commission. The care labeling law, also part of the Textile Fiber Productions Identification Act, covers how to care for products. There's also the Care Labeling Rule, 16 CFR. Part 423. Go to ftc.gov/os/2000/07/ca-relabeling-rule.html. The Wool Products Labeling Act of 1939 requires an additional label on wool or textile products to state when imported fibers are used. There are also state bedding and upholstered furniture laws and state labeling laws that affect products that have concealed fillings such as stuffed toys, pillows, etc. Contact your state offices to find out about standards and rules regarding anything you might be producing. Usually, only manufacturers buy product liability insurance. Product liability insurance could be included in a comprehensive general liability business insurance policy, or you could buy a separate policy for it. Insurance policies get very complicated. State exactly what you want and look your policy over with a fine-tooth comb for exclusions, deductions, limits, and nullifying conditions. Have your lawyer look at it. A good manufacturing company will give their sellers/retailers a clause in their contract called a vendor's endorsement, where they will state that they take full responsibility for all claims against the product, and if you are charged with product liability for selling the product, they will indemnify you, that is, agree to pay all legal bills you might incur fighting a product liability lawsuit. Disclaimers might warn customers about the possible dangers of a product, but they have 3 features that could backfire. Firstly, if the potential customer sees a big disclaimer on the packaging of some product, he or she might think twice and not buy, thinking there is something inherently wrong with the structure of the product. Secondly, disclaimer laws often don't apply in cases with children's products because it is assumed that they are not of sound, mature mind, therefore can't understand them anyway. Thirdly, you legally can't use a disclaimer as a defense against what is obviously a defective, safety hazard product. You can't just build a bike with poor brakes then sell it with a big sign on it saying "Watch out for the brakes." The product is shoddy. You are negligent. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do, that is to ride safely. Product liability law differs among jurisdictions. It's not written in stone. Judges make decisions which set precedents. To avoid problems, see a lawyer about it when you start your business. If someone gets injured with a product, they will generally sue everyone and let the courts hash it out, so even if you're the retailer and not the maker, there is a chance that you could get sued for product liability, even though technically speaking, you're not really guilty, but you will have to do the song and dance in court until you are found not guilty, just the innocent seller of what you thought was a good product manufactured by somebody else. In breach of product lawsuits, the plaintiff must generally prove the following points. The business owed the claimant a duty of care. The duty and/or standard of care required was breached. Measurable financial damages resulted from the breach. There was a direct causal connection between the breach of contract and the damages that occurred. The question is, did you take reasonable care in designing, producing, and/or marketing the product? If you're the business being sued, the plaintiff will go into your background research, development, and testing of the product and ask if you've covered all the industry standards and possible testing circumstances. They will ask about quality control standards and whether the managers knew about the risks before they sent it out on the market. What information and warnings did the manufacturer provide about the product? How obvious are the hazards of the product? When you buy a skateboard, you should intuitively know that if you go fast on it down the street you could get hit by a car. Some kid's father sued a skateboard manufacturer for his son's accident and lost for this reason. If you buy a car that tips easily if you take a corner at what is not considered excessively fast but a brisk speed, you're not expected to know this, so it's not your fault. What about preventive measures like wearing a helmet? How severe are the damages? The two types of damages a civil court awards are: compensatory damages, to pay you back for what you lost as a result of the breach of contract. Punitive damages, to punish you. It's usually dependent on your conscious bad intentions to make money at the exclusion of everything else versus an honest mistake. I've seen a business legal book describing product liability and it was very specific, tedious, and boring. Get a lawyer or a specialist consultant to protect you by telling you what to do before the product goes to market, and buy some product liability insurance with him going through the policy before you sign for it. In the end, don't feel petty about using disclaimers. I've seen a disclaimer on a skateboard stating that you could get injured if you ride on it too fast, around the streets where there's traffic, and if you don't wear a safety helmet. This is all generic common sense, but there was a fool who filed a lawsuit against a skateboard company because their foolish son went out, did crazy things on his skateboard until he got in an accident. Lucky for sensible people, the skateboard company won, but it was still a headache for them. If you put a disclaimer on your product labeling that reads like it's geared for a 5-year-old, then you're protecting yourself legally. I saw a really stupid one on an invention show. Some kid came out with his supposed invention, a seat near the handlebars of a bike where another passenger could sit while the guy rode the bike. The second I saw it I knew no company would ever manufacture it because it's a lawsuit waiting to happen, but the judges, who were 3 supposed invention experts, actually voted for the kid to continue on in the competition. Product liability websites: business.com/guides/product-safety-requirements-for-small-business-433, product safety requirements for small business, how-to guides. fda.gov/comments, rules on the way some foods and drugs are sold. ftc.gov/os/statutes/textile, Federal Fair Packaging and Labeling Act. ftc.gov/bcp/conlani/pubs/buspubs. ftc.gov/os/2000/07/ca relabeling rule.html, part of the Textile Fiber Productions Identification Act. ftc.gov/bcp/conlani/pubs/buspubs/down.htm, feather and down products. ftc.gov/os/statutes/textiles/furact.htm, Fur Product Labeling Act. ftc.gov/bcp/conline/pubs/buspubs/wedgeon.htm, wedding gown labels. ftc.gov/bcp/conlani/pubs/buspubs/cotton.htm, labeling and advertising cotton products. ftc.goflowb/v980034.htm, U.S. Customs Service for Textile Country of Origin Marking. lawprofessors.typepad.com/products_liability. bitpipe.com/tlist/product-liability-law.html. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/product-liability-directive. expertlaw.com/library/product-liability. fllo1web.com/product-liability.htm, Florida's largest legal resource. law.com/jsp/pc/product-liability/index.jsp. lowquotes.com, product liability insurance. pdma.org, product development. productliabilityinfo.com. ssrn.com/update/lsn/lsn_tort-law.html, LSN torts and products liability law. tabuenka.org/special/product.html, Japanese. Guide to product liability law. webfetch.com/uk.webfetch/search/web/product+liability+law. Product liability lawyers. Do a search engine search of product liability and most results you get are for product liability lawyers, so you know they're out there looking to make money by exploiting any safety hazard they spot in any product. 123lawyersearch.com/product-liability-lawyers.html. accidentlawyer.hawaii.com/defective-products-liability. accidentlawyer.hawaii.com/products-liability.html. attorneypages.com/575/ product liability attorneys. bestattorney.com/products_liability.html. californiatrialati.com. carabinsaw.com/product.asp, Texas dangerous and defective products lawyer. cliffordlaw.com/practice/product-liability. cprlaw.com, law firm of Cohen, Place Itella, and Roth. doctoratlaw.com/product_liability.html. eauclairlaw.com/cm/practice area descriptions/product liability.asp, product liability lawyers. The Herrick and Hart, SC, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. flproductsliability.com, Florida lawyers. fultonbar.com, upstate SC products liability lawyer. georgiainjurylawyers.net, Georgia product liability lawyers. lasvegasinjuryattorney.net. lasvegaslawyers.biz. law.pc/product_liability/index.jsp. legalawhelp.com/products_liability_lawyers.html. mossrevidito.com/product_liability.shtml, product liability attorneys. myersonlawfirm.com/product-liability.shtml, product liability lawyer. morellitratner-renu.com. paulsonandnace.com, the law firm of Paulson and Nace. Philadelphia product liability law.com. productliability-lawyer.com, North Carolina lawyers. switchboard.com/attorneys-product_liability_law/Los_Angeles/CA/18333- product liability law in Los Angeles, CA. vegaslawyer.biz. vegaslawyer.net/product-defect.html. vklawyers.com/product liability law.html, California. yellowpages.com, look up product liability attorneys. Product safety testing info. There are some safety standards for some products, particularly electrical ones. Product safety testers test new products to see that they won't harm people or animals in order to help the company avoid legal product liability charges. If professional product safety testers pass or approve a product as safe, it gives that product some legal protection if and when people get injured by it. The biggest independent safety testers are consumerreports.org, ul.com, and ghsavings.com, Good Housekeeping Magazine. CPSC.gov, NIST.gov, and OSHA.gov are the big government safety standards websites. cpsc.gov/cpscpub/pub/325.pdf, CPSC Handbook. epa.gov/opt/pfoa/pub/eca.html. allstreamexpert.com, the PCI Risk Management Guide. ASTM.org, ASTM develops technical standards for industry worldwide. blogs.consumerreports.org/safety. buildabear.com/aboutus/guest services/product safety information.aspx, product safety information. cclub.com/product-safety-testing.htm ce-mag.com/archive/02/spring/richards.html, medical electronics, ensuring compliance with product safety tests. chroma8.com, electrical safety test equipment. com-power.com, telecom and safety products. conformity.com. consumerreports.org. csa-international.org. fans.com/nrtl.html, nationally recognized testing laboratories. glassandweb.com/articles. globalspec.com, engineering search and industrial supplier catalogs. gpcl.com. hkstc.org/hkstc_met.html, Met Laboratories, your partner for global compliance. intertek-cb.com, products testing laboratories, material and chemical analysis. etacsysLab.com/product-safety-compliance. labcoNCO.com/company/standards_certs/etl.shtml, electrical safety listings. lumetron.com/safety.htm, safety and compliance test equipment. metricsteream.com, the latest safety standards for your organization. productsafet.com, test equipment for product safety applications. ptitist.com/wiki/pti/product safety quadtech.com, the electrical safety testing reference guide. safetylink.com, collection of electrical product safety and standards resources. safetylink.com, electrical product safety and standards. sgs.com/European-certification. testproducts.com, national safety products. txene.com, process safety experts in the field of electrostatics. trac-trl.com, track offers electromagnetic compatibility, EMC, hazardous locations and product safety testing, including ATEX, HAZLOC, Low Voltage Directive, LVD, General Product Safety. trlcompliance.com. tuv.com/us/en/product-safety-test-marks.html. ul.com. westcoastlabs.com, product test reports and certification. Chapter 7. Legal insurance for businesses. Legal insurance for business. illegalplans.com. 1st-insurance-shop.com. 2insurance4less.com. 3dquote.com. 5minutequote.net/businessquote.cfm. aarp.thehartford.com/homebusiness. aig.com. alanboswell.com/business_insurance. allbusiness.com. allbusiness.com/finance-insurance summit. publicadjusters.com/business.htm, Philadelphia. allquotesinsurance.com. allstate.com/business-insurance.aspx. amandamarks.com/bizquote.php. amfm.com. amityinsurance.com. arizonaplans.com/smallgroupquote.htm. armnewyork.com. benefitmall.com/index.asp. bestbusinessquote.com. budget-quotes.com. business.com. businessinsurance.com. businessinsurance.com. businessinsurance.instantinsurancequotesonline.com. business-insurance-fre-quote.com. businessinsurance-rankinow.com. business-insurance-quote.homelifehealthautocarinsurance.info. business-insurance-quote.homelifehealthautocarinsurance.info. businessquote.com, 800-296-7985, 406-423-5428. Buybusinessinsurance.net. caribtrader.com. centralinds.com/bus_quote.asp. tuckerinsuranceservice.com/pages/businessquote.hdm. chubb.com/businesses. columbus-direct.com/travel-business-travel-insurance.cfm. coolins.com. dollyb.com. daminsurance.com. dempseyinsure.net/business.hdm. bcarterinsurance.biz/businessform.html. ebusinessdirectory.ws. epli.com, the Small Business Insurance Center. federatedinsurance.com. fgib.com, insurance brokers to the financial industry. findinsurance.us. garrettinsurance.com/business_qt.hdm. geico.com, Geico Car Insurance. getfreeinsurancequotes.com. get-insurance.net. hanoverinsurance.com/thg/business. homegain.com, Home Business Insurance. iii.org/individuals/business. 3n.com, Insurance Industry Internet Network. ingenuitycorp.com. insuremarket.com/products/small_business/index_sb. insurance.alloptions.com. insurance.capital.com. insurance.com. insurance4usa.com. insurancenoodle.com. insurancerackly.com, some info about getting sued. insurancepro.com. insurancequotesnationwide.com. insure.com. insure.org. insureamericabusiness.com. insureclick.com. insuredbucinasusa.com. insurewow.com. lake-insurance.com, residents of Maryland and insweb.com. irmi-update.com, free business insurance newsletter. k3hy.com/chesapeakeinsurance/business.html. corexdon.com/business.asp. kinsurancecenter.com. noidins.com. business-insurance-lowcostinsurancequotes.com. kqzyfj.com. legalmatch.com/law-library/article/home-business-insurance.html. libertyinsurancequotes.com. libertymutual.com. lmcinsurance.com. lowestpremium.com. lowquotes.com. managementhealth.org/insurance-ce/insurance-ce.hdm. miainc.com/quote_business.shtml, Millers Insurance Agency, Downingtown, PA, 800-242-1238. maradhanbusiness.com. mostchoice.com. multiserve.net/business_quote.hdm. myhometownagency.com. miownbusiness.org. miownbusiness.org/s5. nationaladvantage.com/business_quote. nationwide.com. nationwide.com/nw/business. netquote.com. newtkbusiness-services.com/insurance/legal_information.html. oasisinsurance.com. clarkinsurance.com/quotes/business_quote.asp. simmonsinsurance.com. jacksonvilleinsurance.com/businessquote.html. pavismccormick.com, New Brunswick, New Jersey. progressivecommercial.com. quotematch.com. realpagesites.com/aacinsurance/businessquote. rydallinsurance.com. resumeminers.com/home-business/home-business-quote-project.htm. Safeco.com, sb.thehartford.com, seanlyons.com/businessquote.hdm, 2020insurance.com, mursons.com/busquote.html, starvayayans.com/business_quote.htm, smetoolkit.org, statefarm.com, techinsurance.com, texasinsurancezone.com, dwyer-insurance.com/business.htm, 888-389-4100, texasplans.com/texas_small_business.htm, thea.com/insurance/business-insurance.html, themoneyvibe.com, thunderbayinsurance.com, unitronbusinessinsurance.com, us.smetoolkit.org/us/en/category/1805/insurance-for-businesses, wausau.com, wcflinsuranceservices.com, wilsoninsurance.com/business.htm, womeninc.org, 800-930-3993, workingtoday.org, group insurance rates for independent contractors, zurichene.com/small_business_insurance.htm, prepaid legal services. If you run a business, you can buy peace of mind from lawsuits by investing in a prepaid legal services plan. These usually cost under $50 a month and you get unlimited consultation, will preparation, IRS tax audit service, representation in civil court, etc. If you're a general family man, you can still subscribe to these services for peace of mind. Contact the following for more information. Look in your phone book or internet telephone directories and type prepaid legal services into search engines. Some of these companies may be on the scamish side, but some are good. Think of it as legal insurance in case you get sued or something happens. abanit.org/legalservices/prepaid, administrative solutions.com, aplzi.org, aragigroup.com, budgeter.net, business.com/directory/law/pre-paid_legal_services, coveryourfamily.com, edvan.net, prepaid legal services in the Cottonwood area, en.wikipedia.org/wiki/online_legal_services, en.wikipedia.org/wiki/pre-paid_legal_services, en.wikipedia.org/wiki/pre-paid_legal_services, _inc, expertlaw.com/library/consumer/prepaid_legal.html, helpwithlegal.com, hubpages.com/hub/prepaid_legal_services, justice-explained.com/prepaid-legal-services.asp, legalclub.com, legalhelpnow.com, legalprotectionplans.com, newyorklum.com, prepaidlegal.com, prepaid-legal-help-4u.com, prepaidlegalplans.ws, prepaid-legal-services.biz, prepaidlegalservices.com, prepaid-legal-services.net, prepaidlegalservices.nbg.com, prepaidplans.com, ridelinsurance.com, rightsplus.com/prepaid-legal/legal-service.html, South Florida prepaidlegal.com, superself-success.com/blog/pre-paid-legal-services, theoeldalivingwill.com, unitedlegalbenefits.com, Maryland, Washington D.C. and Southeastern Pennsylvania, valueourrights.com, woodfinweb.com, wwint.com, American Prepaid Legal Services Institute, 541 North Fairbanks Court, Chicago, Illinois 60611. 312-988-5751. aplzi.org. Ask for list of prepaid legal services companies. National Resource Center for Consumers of Legal SVCs. POB 340. Gloucester, Virginia 23061. 804-693-9330. Law phone 4501 Forbes Boulevard, Langham, Maryland 20706. 800-255-3352. lawphone.com. Legal Services Plan 200 North Martingale Road, Schaumburg, Illinois 60173. 888-385-2531. Prepaid Legal Services 321 East Main St. Ada, Oklahoma 74821. 405-436-1234. Canadian Prepaid Legal Services. lsp.ca. cbc.ca/consumers/market/files/money/prepaid legal. Prepaid legal services fraud. There are a lot of people complaining that they buy a prepaid legal services plan then don't get the service they expected. Before you buy a prepaid legal service, type the company name into ripoffreport.com to see if they have complaints against them. Prepaidillegal.com, the Fraud Discovery Institute, investigating prepaid legal services. Helpproviders.com. MediaMogle.com. cbc.ca/consumers/market/files/money/prepaid legal. Chapter 8. Business Licensing Info. Regulations and licensing in general. If you plan to go into business and want to play it right, your best bet is to look through your telephone book, contact the relevant sectors of each level of government, federal, state, city, county, and ask each what regulations and licensing requirements you're subject to. Ignorance is no excuse for the law, so it could be better to take care of business now lest some bureaucrat close you down for some code violation later. Contact your trade association for information. You can look up the national office in the Encyclopedia of Associations at the library. Just about every trade and profession have licensing requirements, including plumbers, electricians, bricklayers, etc. Most localities have registration and licensing requirements that will apply to you. A license is a formal permission to practice a certain business activity, issued by a local, state, or federal government. If you operate a business without getting a business license, you'll get caught sooner or later and face legal action on a local level, but you'll have the most trouble with the IRS. Tax evasion is a criminal offense. You can go to jail for a long time and have a lot of money seized. You have to show proof of a business license in order to open a bank accounts. Some merchant credit card accounts providers won't give you service without a business license. For your local area, check with your local SBA office and Chamber of Commerce for information about where to buy a business license. It's usually the county clerk's office, but not always. You have to conduct a business name search to make sure that no other business is using the same name that you want to use. This is usually an automatic part of the registration process that they do. In some places, you have to place an ad in the local newspaper stating that you plan to open a business with a specific name, and if anyone has any objection, they had better come forward now. Don't trademark your business name unless you build the business up to be a national to international company. A license may require some kind of examination to certify that the recipient is qualified. If you are going into a retail business and your state is subject to sales taxes, apply for a permit and number with the State Franchise Tax Board or other proper department. Municipal, state and federal government business regulations can be extensive with things like noise, air pollution, health codes, land use, building codes, sales tax, employees, worker safety, consumer protection, product safety, customs duties, tax, trade practices, and payroll deductions. For any small or home business, the most extensive regulations will always be local, from the municipality where you live. They can be quite lenient or quite trivial. A lot depends on the nature of the particular bureaucrat you're dealing with and whether he likes you or not. He has certain rules he has to follow, but he can always choose whether to cut you some slack or tighten the screws. Bureaucrats can be a pain in the ass, especially if you try to tell him to shove his rules up his butt, then he will sock at you with the rule book. This is how it works in the real world. Some license boards will get personal about your proposed business, asking for a business plan and investigating your past criminal history, etc., possibly refusing you a license based on these grounds. Any business that sells or distributes food in any manner almost always requires a county health department permit. If your business falls into this category, simply call the county health department and invite them out to your place of business for an inspection. The fees generally range from about $25, depending on the size of your business when they first inspect it for permit approval. There are also a number of businesses that require inspection by a fire marshal. Just about every trade and profession have licensing requirements, including plumbers, electricians, bricklayers, etc. You will find that a great number of city business license departments are there solely for the purpose of collecting another tax. Depending on the type of business you're asking a license for, the building and zoning people may inspect your premises for soundness of structure and safety. Generally, you won't encounter any difficulties. You simply pay your fee to operate your business in that city and the clerk types your name onto a city license certificate. Relative to sales tax permits and licenses, each state's rules and regulations vary widely. The best thing to do is call your state offices and ask for information concerning registry and collection procedures. Many states require an advance deposit or bond, and you will find that some wholesalers or manufacturers will not sell to you at wholesale prices until you can show them your sales tax permit or number. Most states and some large cities have a sales tax which you will be required to collect on their behalf. You will have to go to the sales tax agency, fill out some forms, receive a sales tax reference number for your business, then proceed to collect the tax. The regulations are intended to protect the general public and prevent or minimize public nuisances and misleading business practices. There are two major types of municipal regulations: building and zoning regulations. Zoning regulations divide a community into four basic classifications: residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural. Each of these areas include further subcategories as residential single-family or residential multiple-family. Local government officials have to play a game of balancing commercial and resident interests. In many areas, residents don't care much, so commercial businesses are free to operate as they want, but there are often a few residents complaining about traffic, pollution, noise, etc., which is why many cities develop industrial areas where you can build your factory or your business and operate in peace. Local governments want tax money from commercial businesses but also want votes from residents, so a politician's lot is to please everyone, or at least try to. You, as a business owner, have a right to contact your local council member and ask him to help you out with a situation or organize a group of business people to get the law changed to suit your needs. Basic business paperwork info. The simpler you keep your paperwork system, the cheaper and easier running the business is for you. When you make a contract, keep it simple. There are free contract forms out there. If it's a big deal, hire a lawyer. Paperwork is necessary to protect yourself legally and financially. I've made verbal deals with people who later turned out to be trustworthy, but just as easily somebody can lie without paperwork and screw you. If you're turning cash over, get a receipt no matter what. Vendors often like to keep things vague until they present you with the final bill, which is usually high. Tell them you want a bill as they do work. If the bill is too high, say you want it itemized. When you start a business, there is a lot of government red tape and other paperwork you have to do, like the following: a federal ID number from the IRS, a fictitious name filing, the name you would like to register through your county or state licensing office. If incorporating as a corporation, articles of incorporation, shareholder operating agreements, stock subscription agreements, stock option agreements, stock certificates, a corporate seal. Legal papers. Non-disclosure and non-compete agreements. Proprietary inventions agreements. Legal agreement templates. Intellectual property. Financial papers. Accounting records and backups. Monthly financial statements. Management paperwork. Staff contact directory. Standard operating procedures, SOPs. Mission statement. Business vision. Backup of all business paperwork. Paperwork if you want investors. Private placement memoranda, PPM. Business plan. Business presentations in PowerPoint and Flash videos so prospective investors can watch it on a DVD. Merger agreements. Asset purchase agreements. Miscellaneous. Company name and slogan. Website name. Logo. Website content. Business card templates. Contact management system. Sales pitches. Flyers, company literature. Letterhead/form letter, real world, and email. Business licensing websites. allbusiness.com/research/business_licenses.asp, business licenses. allbusiness.com. apostille.us, license or permit for your business any occupation anywhere in U.S. arkansas.gov/business_res.php. business.gov/topic/licenses_and_permits, federal and state. businesslicenses.com, get all your state and local business licenses and permits online. businessnamusa.com/business-license.htm. cabq.gov/dfa/treasury/license.html, Albuquerque business registration. calgold.ca.gov, business permits made simple. chamberecommerce.com/business_license.htm. ci.wilsonville.or.us/departments/admin_surf/finance/blinefo-form.html. cityofboise.org/city_clerk/business licensing. cityofhenderson.com/bus license/php/buslicensebody.php, Henderson, NV. cityofknoxville.org/finance/bizlicense.asp, Knoxville, TN. cityofnorthlasvegas.com/departments/finance/businesslicense.cfm. cityofreno.com/bus/license. cityofripon.org/business/license.htm. cityofseattle.net/rca/licenses/blickform.htm. co.clark.nv.us/business_license. co.pierce.wa.us/pc/abts/rrg/licensing/business_license.htm, Pierce County business licensing. corpamerica.com, UT business licenses and permits. corporate.com. corporate.com/bizlicenses.jsp. dced.state.ak.us/occ/buslic.htm, Alaska business licensing program. dol.wa.gov, Washington state business license. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/business_license. fbnusa.com, get your business license online. homebusiness.center.com/business_license.html, how to get a business license. lasvegasnevada.gov/bus-license. lawrence.edu/library/guides/econ240.shtml, government regulation of business. longbeach.gov/commercial/business_licenses.asp. mblr.dc.gov, District of Columbia. metrokc.gov/ddes/business/location.shtm, King County, WA. mynewcompany.com/business_license.htm. ncommerce.com/servicecenter/blio. revenue.delaware.gov/services/business_tax/step3.shtml. revenue.state.az.us/license.htm, get your business license. sba.gov/hotlist/license.html. state.co.us/oed/industry-license. usa.gov/business/business_gateway.shtml, business and non-profit gateway. Regulations and licensing, local government. When any business takes on a name other than the owner's real name, this name is called either an assumed name, fictitious name, doing business as /DBA. People who do business using a fictitious name, which means most people, are required to file a fictitious name statement/assumed name statement or a doing business as /DBA with your local county clerk if the name you select is different from your legal name. The filing form is simple and requires a modest filing fee. Your DBA registration will usually be recognized for 10 years. Your first order of business is to go to the county clerk's office and ask for an application for either a business license or an application for a fictitious business name. You fill it in, pay a filing fee, then you might have to advertise intent to use a particular business name in your local newspaper to give others a chance to challenge your proposed use of that particular name. If no one contests it and the clerk doesn't find a similar business name in his search, you're given the right to use the name. Your bank may want to see a copy before you can open a business account.